Hirsch says the U.S. is preparing the battlefield in Iran right now. He writes in the New Yorker magazine an attack could come before President Bush leaves office. The State Department is basically laughing it off. Let's talk with senior Pentagon correspondent Jamie McIntyre. Jamie, what's your take?
Well, Kira, I can tell you the Cy Hirsch article in the New Yorker magazine has been the talk of the Pentagon today. Mostly what we've gotten is a lot of no comments and a few denials. Here's a little bit of what Seymour Hersh said that the U.S. was doing not just to Iran, but in Iran.
We've sent in a special task force that operates out of Afghanistan into Iran. I did notice what Ambassador Crocker said about not cross-border, and I have a lot of respect for him, and I don't want to challenge it, but the fact is we're inside. We're not necessarily cross-border. We have teams inside Iran, and these include Joint Special Operation Force, most elite commando unit, and basically they're guys that go after high-value targets around the world. You know, they capture them or kill them, so it's a significant increase in American potential for damage inside Iran.
What Seymour Hersh is referring to is a denial from the U.S. ambassador to Iraq, Ryan Crocker, who told CNN that U.S. forces had not crossed into Iran from Iraq, not from southern Iraq, not from anywhere in Iraq. But Seymour Hersh is saying that there are other teams and other places like Afghanistan that the U.S. is operating from that Ambassador Crocker may not be aware of. That got a mocking response today from the State Department spokesman.
After I stop laughing, I'll try and address it for you. Look, yeah, Ryan Crocker talked about this in his appearance with CNN. I'd refer you to his remarks in terms of speculation about intelligence-related issues. Well, you can speculate with intelligence officials about it.
Casey went on to say that he was, quote, sure that conspiracy-minded journalists knew more than the ambassador in the country. And again, regarding that very specific denial from Ambassador Crocker, he may be right. But I have to tell you, Kira, that we've gotten a few hints, winks, nods, nudges, eyebrows raised that tells us that something is going on inside Iran regarding U.S. forces, but it's something that's so secret, so classified, that nobody here is really authorized to talk about the kind of operations that are going on. They are apparently, though, aimed at destabilizing and undermining the Iranian regime. We have no idea how effective they might be. Kira?
Oh, we'll keep following it. Jamie, I had a chance earlier to talk about the Hersh report with our military analyst, retired Army Brigadier General David Grange. Here's what he had to say. And we should make the point that covert operations doesn't mean preparation for war or that the U.S. will engage in an open war with Iran.
You're exactly right. It could be for other reasons. It could be to get some type of effect that's necessary before a negotiation, to give people opportunities to do something within a country, whatever the case may be. Not necessarily for war. That is correct.
And you can expect more on this story at the top of the hour in the Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer.
Another thick report on the war in Iraq says high-level failures led things astray from the very beginning. Now, the study released today by the RAND Corporation cites failures to challenge rosy pre-war assumptions, bureaucratic bungling, and a lack of adequate power to stabilize, I should say, the country at the end of major combat. Now, the RAND report has done for the Army, which released an internal review over the weekend. Among the errors, the Army lists a lack of necessary troop strength, a dissolution of Iraq's armed forces, and a change in the chain of command that blindsided the military leadership and hampered combat efforts during the rise of Iraq's insurgency. At the White House today, President Bush signed legislation providing $162 billion for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Congress finished voting on the bill on Friday.
We owe these brave Americans our gratitude. We owe them our unflinching support. And the best way to demonstrate that support is to give them the resources they need to do their jobs and to prevail.
Well, the funding bill the president signed puts the official total for the war in Iraq at more than $650 billion. A little bit later on, right here in the CNN newsroom, reports on Iraq and a Baghdad bomb squad cooling its heels. Its workload is now down. Now let's take a look at where the presidential candidates stand on Iraq. Democrat Barack Obama opposed the use of military force in Iraq. He voted for a war spending bill that would have withdrawn most U.S. troops by March of this year. He supports a phased redeployment of U.S. combat troops at a pace of 1 or 2 brigades a month. He also opposed President Bush's plan to send additional troops to Iraq. Republican John McCain voted for the use of military force in Iraq and was an early proponent of sending additional American troops to Iraq. He also supported President Bush's veto of a war spending bill that would have withdrawn most U.S. troops from Iraq by March of this year.
Leading our political ticker, controversy on the campaign trail, retired General Wesley Clark is drawing fire for some comments about John McCain's military experience. On one of the Sunday talk shows, Clark, who supports Barack Obama, called McCain a hero, but said he's untested.
That large squadron in the Navy that he commanded, it wasn't a wartime squadron. He hasn't been there and ordered the bombs to fall. I don't think riding in a fighter plane and getting shot down is a qualification to be president.
Now, a short time ago, during a meeting with reporters in Pennsylvania, McCain was asked whether Obama should address Clark's comments.
I know we've heard this many times and other comments that have been made, and but no, that's certainly up to Senator Obama.
Now, during a stop in Harry Truman's hometown, Independence, Missouri, Barack Obama did not directly respond to Wesley Clark's comments about McCain, but he said no one should ever devalue his Republican opponent's military service. Obama also focused on patriotism during his speech.
I will never question the patriotism of others in this campaign. And I will not stand idly by when I hear others question mine.
Now, some fence mending by Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. The two men plan to talk as early as today about the former president's role in Obama's campaign. That word from Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, Terry McAuliffe. Now, while he stayed behind the scenes so far in the general election battle, Bill Clinton has said in a statement that he'll do whatever he can to help Obama win. McAuliffe denies claims that the former president is bitter over his wife's loss in the Democratic race.
Well, for John McCain, praise but no endorsement after a meeting with one of America's most prominent evangelists. The presumptive Republican nominee stopped off yesterday at the Reverend Billy Graham's home in North Carolina. Also there, Graham's son, Franklin. The 89-year-old Graham, who is ill, sat up in a chair and took part in the meeting. After the talks, Franklin Graham said he's impressed by McCain's personal faith and moral clarity on important social issues. Check out our political ticker for all the latest campaign news. Just log on to CNNPolitics.com, your source for all things politics. And a reminder that we are awaiting remarks from Senator John McCain at a town hall event in Pipersville, Pennsylvania. That happens at the bottom of the hour. See it live right here in the CNN Newsroom. And get the latest from the campaign trail on both candidates at the top of the hour in the Situation Room, of course, with Wolf Blitzer.
The Pentagon says it will seek the death penalty against a Saudi Arabian for allegedly organizing and directing the bombing of the USS Cole. Abd al-Rahim al-Nashiri has been held at the military prison in Guantanamo Bay since 2006. He says he was tortured into confessing. The CIA admits waterboarding Nashiri several years ago. 17 American sailors were killed and dozens wounded when the Cole was attacked in Yemeni port of Aden in 2000. And Army investigators are now joining police to probe the mysterious death of this soldier in North Carolina. Specialist Megan Tomo was 7 months pregnant. Her decomposing body was found in a hotel near Fort Bragg more than a week ago. Investigators are treating the case as a homicide, but they're not saying how Tomo was killed. The military is planning a second, more advanced autopsy. Investigators say that another Fort Bragg soldier is a so-called person of interest in that case.
Following up on a story we first told you about in November, a Houston, Texas grand jury refused today to indict this man, 61-year-old Joe Horn. He is a homeowner who shot to death 2 men outside his neighbor's house. Horn said he believed the men were burglarizing that house. And while he was on the phone with a 911 operator, he grabbed his 12-gauge shotgun. Here's part of that call.
Mr. Horn, do not go outside of the house.
This ain't right, buddy.
You're going to get yourself shot if you go outside that house with a gun.
You want to make a
what
bet?
You think. Okay, stay in the house.
They weren't getting away.
Well, Horn's attorney says his client shot the men only when they came into his yard and threatened him. Now, you remember the protests that followed. Civil rights activists argued the shooting was racially motivated. The victims were unemployed illegal immigrants from Colombia. Horn's supporters say he was protecting himself and being a good neighbor. Part of a disturbing national trend. That's how federal investigators describe this fatal helicopter collision over Flagstaff, Arizona. 2 medical choppers carrying patients to the same hospital hit each other yesterday. At least 6 people are dead, 1 critically injured. Now, the National Transportation Safety Board has taken over that investigation.
This has been a serious issue. Matter of fact, just this year, only 6 months into the calendar year, there have been 8 such accidents, not necessarily mid-airs. Mid-airs are rare, extremely rare. But 8 EMS aircraft have had accidents, and we're very concerned about that. That's why we're going to work very, very hard to make sure we understand exactly what happened here, determine the probable cause, and make recommendations to prevent it from happening again.
Well, 3 of the first rescuers at the scene were hurt in a second explosion. They are all, by the way, in good condition. A 10 to 15-acre wildfire the crash set off has been contained.
Well, at the rate we're going, worth its weight in oil might become the new saying. Black gold sets another record. This morning, crude surged past $143 a barrel for the first time. Analysts point to fears of a supply disruption in Iran, still locked in an international stalemate over its nuclear program. As for your Monday markets, let's take a look at the big board. Right now, the Dow Industrial's up 50 points, slowly climbing up. We're going to go live to Wall Street in about 10 minutes for a full business roundup with our Susan Lasovich. And you've seen it, you've heard it, and you've probably felt it. Record high gas prices have many Americans' wallets running on empty. In fact, according to a new Associated Press Yahoo poll, 9 of 10 people expect fuel costs to put them in a financial squeeze over the next 6 months. Now, for some, that means giving up little luxuries like vacations and brand names, but nearly half foresees serious hardship because of gas prices. So how high will those gas prices go, and what are our energy alternatives? We're going to seek answers from Chevron Chairman Dave O'Reilly. He's taking your questions tonight on Larry King Live, 9 Eastern, right here on CNN.
Tragedy at an Alabama air show. A young boy loses his life when a powerful storm strikes a group of spectators.
And a young murder suspect is found dead in his cell in Maryland. Police are baffled by the case.
And as we told you at the top of the hour, we're awaiting John McCain. He's at a town hall in Pennsylvania. See it live right here in the CNN newsroom.
Army Captain Gregory T. D'Alessio of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, one of America's fallen heroes. Greg died a week ago today of wounds suffered during combat operations just outside Baghdad. He was only 30 years old.
Who says Gordon Smith helped lead the fight for better gas mileage and a cleaner environment? Barack Obama. He joined with Gordon and broke through a 20-year deadlock to pass new laws which increase gas mileage for automobiles. Governor Ted Kulongoski praised their bipartisan partnership on this critical issue. Gordon Smith, bipartisan leadership for energy independence.
I'm Gordon Smith, and I approve working together across party lines. And this ad.
Well, I remember there was a time that I would drive by the school like at 9 o'clock at night when I was on meth, and I would just think, this is the school that my son goes to, and I don't know anything about him. I would just sit and cry, and I wanted to be a part of his life, but because of my addiction to meth, I was unable to. I knew I had to get clean in order to do my part. I just got my son back from foster care. Hi, Mom. He's a great kid.
See what it means today to be black in America. July 23rd and 24th on CNN.
You're in the CNN newsroom. I'm Don Lemon. We've all flown with them. Travelers who think a carry-on means anything you can carry. Well, better pack some extra money in those oversized bags, people. That's ahead in the CNN newsroom.
Attention, all Medicare beneficiaries who need assistance getting around their homes. There is a Medicare benefit that may qualify you for a new power chair or scooter at little to no cost to you. Imagine one scooter or power chair that could improve your mobility and your life. One Medicare benefit that, with private insurance, may entitle you to pay little to nothing to own it. One company that can make it all happen.
Your power chair will be paid in full.
The Scooter Store.
Hi, I'm Dan Weston. We're experts at getting you the scooter or power chair you need. In fact, if we pre-qualify you for Medicare reimbursement and Medicare denies your claim, we'll give you your new power chair or scooter free.
I didn't pay a penny out of pocket for my power chair. With help from the Scooter Store, Medicare and my insurance covered it all.
Call the Scooter Store for free information today.
Call 1-800-442-4946 for free information. That number again is 1-800-442-4946.
Asbestos, tiny and deadly, triggering an incurable cancer, mesothelioma. For 30 years, the law firm of Barron & Budd has helped thousands receive compensation from the companies responsible for their exposure to asbestos. By law, you have a limited time to act, so call 800-946-9646 for a free legal consultation. Barron & Budd, protecting what's right.
All right, so barring any more rain, the worst of the Great Flood of '08 may be over for Missouri. The Mississippi River is finally cresting at St. Louis about 9 feet above flood stage. The river won't crest for another day or two downriver in Cape Girardeau. Firefighters are gaining ground slowly against more than 1,000 wildfires burning across Northern California. Crews have managed to build a fire line between one of the biggest and the town of Big Sur. In Arizona, firefighters are scrambling to keep these flames from the town of Crown King. The winds are picking up, and everyone there as well, they're evacuated their homes for now. Spectator tents collapsed, and a 5-year-old boy was killed during a violent thunderstorm in Huntsville, Alabama. It happened at an air show yesterday. 12 other people were hurt. Another child, was taken to the hospital. A stormy day at the beach. Chad Myers, anything to worry about as we look at that video? How sad was that at that air show, though, man?
It certainly was. It was some kind of a generator sitting up on a platform, and it got blown off. I mean, unbelievable. Yeah, here we go, Don. We do have a stormy day from St. Augustine right down through Crescent Beach and Marineland down toward Flagler Beach. That's exactly where I was last week, in fact. And I hope you're off the beach at this point in time, because we had a storm roll through. I don't know what day it was, maybe last Thursday. And we got in time and then looked out over the water, and it looked like there was a bunch of boats out there. But in fact, those were all umbrellas that had blown off the beach that were floating around, looked like little sailboats out there. And that's what kind of weather we're having here. Winds probably 30 to 40 miles per hour, and in some spots higher than that. Orlando, you're still doing okay, but there are storms firing up to the west of you. And this is a big weekend for vacationing down to Florida. I mean, a lot of people down there, and so you're going to have to watch out. It's going to be a stormy week, all week long. Showers and storms up and down the beach all the way there, not only from Jacksonville, but really all the way down to Miami as well. There are storms right along the Gulf Coast all the way into almost New Orleans today, and that's going to be kind of the same forecast for the next couple. Here's how it looks out. We still have a severe thunderstorm watch for northern Florida. That will probably get pushed down into central Florida as well. I'll have to see what they think about that as the day goes on. The flooding, the major flooding that has gone on, finally now coming to an end. The water coming down, Quincy and Hannibal and Winfield, obviously all those levees that we talked about were breaking up there. Cresting now in St. Louis and coming down, still in really good shape. Yes, there are some lowlands around St. Louis that did flood, but things look much better right now as the water coming down and the levees are still holding. There'll be showers all the way up and down the East Coast. Only one airport delay. That's Newark and LaGuardia, kind of those areas up there. There have been some volume delays, some equipment problems up there earlier, kind of getting things backed up, but not more than about 30 minutes, Don. And that's good news for flying around on a Monday afternoon, even in some showers.
All right, Chad, like the haircut, by the way, and welcome back. We missed you.
My wife gave it to me on the beach.
Are you serious?
She bought a $9 pair of scissors at Publix supermarket and gave me a haircut. It was so bad, it was so long, I said, please just cut it.
You shouldn't have given it away. You just say, I got, a $300 haircut at whatever, $9.
It's $9 one time, then the rest of the times are free.
I see Kira cracking up in the preview monitor.
I'm just holding back. I want to say, Chad, about time you got a haircut, brother.
I like the haircut, the one with the, right in the center of the head, the solar panel haircut. That's my favorite.
I have that one.
All right, Chad. Thank you.
See ya.
Well, a Chicago firefighter, his job's dangerous enough without someone shooting at him. Take a listen to this. He was investigating a possible arson yesterday when a bullet tore into his ribs.
He's been a fire investigator for 3 to 4 years that I know of. So, know him to see him, good man, good family man. And all we can do now is just pray that he's going to be okay and he's going to make a good recovery. It's been a long time. I got to go back in memory, a long time before I'm going back, thinking about when a firefighter was shot in the line of duty. It's been a while. So, it was just wrong place, wrong time, and he's out doing his job. And we don't really have all those details. We'll let the police department look at that. Like I said, our main concern is his health and making sure that we take care of his family.
The firefighter is in serious but stable condition right now.
Pipersville, Pennsylvania, in the political spotlight today. We're waiting for John McCain, a town hall meeting there, and we'll have it live. The coverage is getting underway. We'll have it live for you right here in the CNN Newsroom. You're watching CNN, the most trusted name in news.
And what would you say to candidates on the topic of Iraq? A new iReport feature allows you to state your case. We'll tell you about it.
Michael Toussaint Heil, Washington, one of America's fallen heroes, the 20-year-old Marine, died June 14th after his Humvee was blown up by a roadside bomb in western Afghanistan.
Wind is everywhere, just waiting to be harvested. But wind power is so much more than clean energy. It drives sustainable economic development. But more than that, wind energy creates local jobs. Insight studies, planning, production, installation, operation and maintenance. Vestas demands local employment. This is why wind is modern energy.
Asbestos, tiny and deadly, triggering an incurable cancer, mesothelioma. For 30 years, the law firm of Barron & Budd has helped thousands receive compensation from the companies responsible for their exposure to asbestos. By law, you have a limited time to act, so call 800-946-9646 for a free legal consultation. Barron & Budd, protecting what's right.
Tonight, record gas prices. How high will they go? What are the energy alternatives? Straight answers from Chevron Chairman Dave O'Reilly. Larry King Live. CNN Tonight, 9 Eastern.
Let me tell you about a very important phone call I made. When I got my Medicare card, I realized I needed an AARP Medicare Supplement insurance card too.
One simple call gave me the chance to talk with a personal health insurance advisor
Who answered all my questions about Medicare supplement plans.
If you're already on or eligible for Medicare, call now to find out how an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, helps you pay some of the 20% of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare Part B. That can save you thousands of dollars. These are the only Medicare supplement insurance plans exclusively endorsed by AARP, a name you trust. When you call now, we'll send you this free information kit, plus this free guide to understanding Medicare.
I can keep my own doctor and choose my own hospital.
and I don't need a referral to see a specialist.
Call 1-800-673-4168 now. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting.
All right, take a live look at the South Lawn. Doesn't look like the South Lawn, does it? Well, that's because today it is transformed into a T-ball field, T-ball at the White House. Do we have any Nat sound on this? We can hear all this applaud. Get these guys up. Anyway, President Bush has been doing this since 2001. He launched this T-ball in the South Lawn to encourage fitness among America's youth and promote our national pastime to people of all ages. Well, today, they open up the 8th season by honoring the Latino community's many contributions to the game of baseball. Today's game features, we have some big names here, but let me tell you, first of all, Little League, the Little League Angels from Manatí, Puerto Rico, and Little League Red Sox from Camden, New Jersey. Also, Roberto Clemente Jr. standing next to the president. So it's T-ball time on the South Lawn of the White House. Do we want to take this or we're going to move on? Move on. All right. So anyway, Hope they do have a fun game today. It would be fun to be there and be outdoors. We have some important news for seniors. The Bush administration is freezing a planned cut of doctors' fees for Medicare patients. The 10% cuts were scheduled to go into effect tomorrow. A congressional vote to stop the cuts altogether is expected after the 4th of July recess. Now, some physicians had been running ads hinting that the reduced rates could make it harder for seniors to find doctors willing to treat them.
Well, if you usually cram all your stuff into a carry-on bag instead of checking luggage, better stow some extra cash on you now. Apparently, the airlines are cracking down on travelers who overflow those overhead bins. Several carriers now are charging for checked bags, and you're going to have employees out there policing the size of your carry-ons now. And if you're stopped at the gate with a bulky bag, well, American Airlines is going to charge you $15 right there to check it. United hasn't decided whether to charge yet, and for now, anyway, U.S. Airways won't charge you for checking the bag at the gate. Well, with food and gas prices soaring, paychecks are getting stretched pretty thin, but a new survey shows where salaries go the furthest. Susan Lasovich at the New York Stock Exchange. Do tell.
Don't mess with Texas, young lady. It's at the top of the list of the best cities to build personal wealth. That's ranked by Salary.com, which follows those kind of things. Number 1, Plano, Texas, home to many corporate headquarters, including Ericsson, JCPenney, Cinemark, and Rent-A-Center. It's a Dallas suburb considered a good place to raise a family due to a strong public education system, so you get something for your taxes. Number 2, Aurora, Colorado. It's a growing area for biotech and aerospace. Number 3, Omaha, Nebraska, home to one of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett. 4, Minneapolis, Minnesota, home to Target headquarters. And 5 is New Mexico's largest city, Albuquerque. Salary.com considered local salaries, the cost of living, and unemployment rates. Kira.
Have you ever been to Plano, Texas, by the way?
I have.
So have I. Did you go to that two-stepping joint, Easy Money?
Well, I didn't go in Plano, but I did ride a mechanical bull, and that's
outstanding.
I'm going to stop right there.
Okay. Apparently there's one here in New York. You and I will have to put on the gringo boots and head out there. All right, what about the bottom of the list?
Well, as sung by Sinatra, if you can make it here, you'll make it anywhere. New York City, of course, ranked as the worst place to build personal wealth. It's a high cost of living. Kara, you know it. You're living here right now. Followed by Washington, Los Angeles, Honolulu, and San Francisco. There's higher salaries in those cities, but they don't match up to the cost of living. I could certainly testify to that. Atlanta, by the way, ranked 52 out of 69 cities listed. Investors not building a whole lot of wealth today. We're seeing a mixed session in the final hour of trading. Oil eased off its record high, closed at 140 even. The Dow Industrials up 50 points, or about 0.5%. The NASDAQ under pressure. It's down about 0.25%. In the final few seconds of trading, I will talk about the $2 million lunch in New York, of course. I'll have the details at the closing bell. Kira, back to you.
All right. Hey, and by the way, Ed Lavandera, you know, our awesome reporter out there in Tejas, he says, hey, don't be knocking Plano, Texas. That's where I grew up.
Oh, I'm not knocking it. I just didn't two-step there.
I know. He wasn't listening to us. We were talking about how we loved it, and you know, we hit the two. We'll see if Ed can two-step. Then we'll take this up later. Thanks, Susan.
You know, tell Ed that I actually have kinfolk that lived there. That's why I was in Plano.
Kinfolk.
Kinfolk.
Hey, there's the talk.
I can go all the way.
All right. There we go. Next half hour starts right now. Hello, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips, not in Plano, Texas, but in New York City.
Boy, that went off the rail, didn't it, partner? Okay, I'm Don Lemon, live at the CNN World Headquarters in Atlanta. You're in the CNN Newsroom. All right, time now to tell you some of the stories we're working on for you today in the CNN Newsroom. A Houston grand jury has refused to indict a suburban homeowner who fatally shot 2 men last November. 61-year-old Joe Horn suspected the men of breaking into his neighbor's suburban home when he fired on them with a shotgun. A 911 operator pleaded with him to stay inside. Investigators are planning a second autopsy on a pregnant soldier whose decomposing body was found in a hotel near Fort Bragg, North Carolina, more than a week ago. They're now treating specialist Megan Tuma's case as a homicide, and they've identified a fellow soldier as a, quote, person of interest. Live pictures now from Pipersville, Pennsylvania. No live pictures of me, but we're going to be checking in on Pipersville, Pennsylvania, where John McCain is holding a town hall meeting this afternoon. We'll dip into that live just as soon as it happens.
And getting a break in Baghdad, a bomb disposal unit relaxes a bit before danger sets in again. We're going to go along with them as they answer a call in the CNN newsroom. But before we do that, we want to go to Candy Crowley on the phone with us right now. Apparently, Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, Candy, spending some time together?
Well, that's a little ahead of the game, but they did talk on the phone. As you know, this is like probably the most widely anticipated phone call since Dr. Livingston, I presume. But nonetheless, what happened was they talked this morning. It was described to me by a source as a good conversation. That's as far as we've gone. As you know, a close friend of Bill Clinton said yesterday that what he was waiting for wasn't that he was angry, it wasn't that he held bad feelings against Barack Obama, but that he wanted to give his wife, Hillary Clinton, the time to go through the Unity Weekend because she was the candidate. So nonetheless, Barack Obama and Bill Clinton did talk by telephone this morning, and that really sort of burst the kind of remaining bubble over this. Now, I suppose next we'll be talking about when they'll appear together, but nonetheless, Bill Clinton talking to Barack Obama today, and that is one of the things we've been waiting for.
Well, Candy, what kind of impact could this make? You know, Bill Clinton received a lot of heat, and so did his wife, during her campaign trail days about his behavior, things that he said. So you say he comes behind Barack Obama, shows his full support, goes out together, you see them together. Good, more good than bad?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are places that the former president can be enormously helpful to Barack Obama. The Clinton name, particularly in rural and working class areas, really still has magic to it. They remember the Clinton era fondly. This is a group that Barack Obama does need, if you will, some help, maybe a stamp of approval from the Clintons, which could, in fact, be very helpful to him. So, yes, no one ever doubted that Bill Clinton would come forth and say, I support him. In fact, his office put out a statement saying that Bill Clinton intended to do whatever he could and whatever he was asked to. But the fact that the two are talking, there have been so many reports denied by Bill Clinton's friends, at least some of them, that he was angry about his legacy being tarnished, and he was angry that he was framed as a racist, that he was angry, of course, that his wife lost. I mean, obviously these things did affect him, but friends kept saying he's going to be there. He will, in fact, support him. So the fact that the two have talked certainly does kind of break that ice, and the Obama campaign has said repeatedly, Barack Obama has said repeatedly, I want to use him. So I suspect they will in some way, shape, or form. I suspect Bill Clinton will be greeted as a hero at the Democratic Convention. So it helps. They do need unity.
All right, and Candy, just coming across my email right now, apparently the Obama campaign has come forward with a statement. I'm just going to go ahead and read it, Candy. It says, Senator Obama had a terrific conversation with President Clinton and is honored to have his support in this campaign. He has always believed that Bill Clinton is one of this nation's great leaders and most brilliant minds, and looks forward to seeing him on the campaign trail and receiving his counsel in the months to come. This is according to Obama campaign spokesman Bill Burton, Candy. So just confirming what you broke, Candy, and the part of the statement saying receiving his counsel in the months to come. What you mentioned the white collar vote that Barack Obama still needs to win over. He's also been working the working women. That's another section that he needs. Where else would he be receiving good counsel from Bill Clinton?
Well, in fact, Barack Obama said when he was in Unity, New Hampshire, with Hillary Clinton, that he wanted the Clintons, plural, advice, not just in the weeks to come, but to Obama if he becomes president. I mean, obviously, a former president does bring a lot to the table, all of them, and they do, all presidents tend to reach out to their predecessors for certain things. Beyond that, Bill Clinton is a terrific political strategist. He knows these counties. He knows these states. So in terms of political advice, he can be very, very helpful. And obviously showing up at any point, he's a huge draw. He brings an audience. And again, he's helpful in those small rural towns where they really still have so much respect for the Clinton name. So strategically, he can be very useful. He has a golden Rolodex that may not yet be open to Barack Obama. He can raise money, as can Hillary Clinton. So obviously, what people will be watching in the coming months is, well, okay, how much of a help? So that'll be the next question. But there's no one that doubts, including the Obama campaign, that the Clintons, plural, bring a lot to the table.
Candy Crowley, as do you. You always bring a lot to the table for us, including that developing news. Thanks, Candy.
Thanks.
All right, Kira and Candy keeping an eye on what the Democrats are doing. We're also keeping an eye on what the Republican presumptive nominee is doing. John McCain, he is in Pipersville, Pennsylvania, about to hold a town hall meeting. As soon as that happens, we'll dip into that and let you see how his day is going and what he is talking about. But first, if gas prices have you down, it might be time to rethink your commute and how much power your house is pulling. On this week's Right on Your Money, Ali Velshi has some bright ideas to help you save the environment and also save some money.
Going green and saving green now go hand in hand. With fuel prices rising, mass transit isn't only a way to pinch some pennies, it's also a great way to reduce your carbon footprint.
I think that the idea of using mass transit is probably the #1 thing that most people that are commuters need to think about. And that could be, taking a train. Trains are actually really not that bad for the environment. Or now we're actually putting in buses that run on hydro. Or think about getting a hybrid car.
Another way to save and stay green this summer? Power down.
Fact is that power is still running through to appliances when they're still there.
You could save up to $50 on your yearly electric bill just by unplugging appliances like your computer, microwave, and cell phone charger when they're not in use. And that's this week's Right on Your Money.
Right on Your Money is sponsored by the personal advisors of Ameriprise Financial. Go to cnn.com/rightonyourmoney to learn what's financially right for your lifestyle. And for more tips on managing your money, pick up any of these magazines on newsstands now.
So here you are, a little confused. Did you think the road to retirement was an expressway? Come on! You can't start this journey without knowing where you're going. You, my friend, you need a plan.
Have a question about whether your plan is in sync with an unsettled market? Ask an Ameriprise advisor. Call 1-877-AFI-4936 and find out why more people come to Ameriprise for financial planning than any other company.
That's my brother Earl. He's been driving the same car for 20 years. What's worse? He's had the same car insurance for 20 years. I tell him, Earl, driving an old car is one thing, but having outdated insurance could be costing you a fortune.
Is that right?
Switch to the AARP insurance program from the Hartford. It's a program designed for people 50 plus.
If you're over 50, you might save $300 by switching to the AARP auto insurance program from the Hartford.
Really?
And with a good driving record, your deductible can disappear over time. Plus, your first accident could be forgiven.
Earl, no penalty for your first accident. Does your plan do that?
I didn't know anybody did that.
Not yet a member? Call now. We'll even send you a free calculator. Call 1-800-556-8277. 1-800-556-8277.
Attention, all Medicare beneficiaries who need assistance getting around their homes. There is a Medicare benefit that may qualify you for a new power chair or scooter at little to no cost to you. Imagine one scooter or power chair that could improve your mobility and your life. One Medicare benefit that, with private insurance, may entitle you to pay little to nothing to own it. One company that can make it all happen.
Your power chair will be paid in full.
The Scooter Store.
Hi, I'm Dan Weston. We're experts at getting you the scooter or power chair you need. In fact, if we pre-qualify you for Medicare reimbursement and Medicare denies your claim, we'll give you your new power chair or scooter free.
I didn't pay a penny out of pocket for my power chair. With help from the Scooter Store, Medicare and my insurance covered it all.
Call the Scooter Store for free information today.
Call 1-800-442-4946 for free information. That number again is 1-800-442-4946.
Closed captioning hours provided by Steak 'n Burger, new in your grocer's freezer.
Okay, ma'am, which one stole your appetite?
The original flavored palette on the left. No, it was the onion. Or was it the cheese?
Be on the lookout for these appetite-stealing steak and burgers in 3 delicious flavors.
CNN Sunday Night. Stories of children at risk around the world. A CNN special hosted by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. UNICEF activists tell you how to make a difference. The Survival Project. One child at a time. CNN Sunday Night, 8 Eastern.
Journalist Seymour Hersh is reporting in the New Yorker magazine that President Bush could order an attack against Iran before he leaves office. Part of the alleged plan stepped up special ops missions inside Iran. The article's the talk of the Pentagon today. Lots of no comments and a denial, of course. Earlier, we spoke with the president of the nonpartisan National Iranian American Council.
The United States was supporting the Afghan resistance against the Soviet Union back in the 1980s, and a lot of those people ended up being part of Al-Qaeda, who, of course, about a decade later committed the terrorist act against the United States. And beyond that, we're in the middle of a war on terror. To give support to groups that are using terrorism, even if it's against the foe of the United States, is going to make the United States lose a lot of credibility in the eyes of the international community.
Not only credibility, we were saying, you know, there were people in Washington, and I talked to you before this, who may say, well, these are things that are done. Military leaders who say these are things that are done, and it's not surprising. But to the person in the middle of the country, in the Midwest, in America, they don't think it's done. And if this does happen, it has repercussions for them. Tell us what those are.
Absolutely. First of all, if we've said that military option is the last option, it's not the first option, well, then this certainly looks strange if what Sy Hersh is writing is true, because in essence it means that there's a dirty war going on between the United States and Iran without us first giving diplomacy a fair chance. But beyond that, mindful of the war in Iraq, mindful of the tensions that currently exist in the Middle East, increasing those tensions or starting another war would get gas prices to go up much higher than they currently are. We're talking about oil being at $143 today. That means that prices that ordinary people in the United States would pay for gas is probably going to get above $5 a gallon if this situation continues.
Yeah. That was Trita Parsi. Parsi is the president of the nonpartisan National Iranian American Council.
Well, we're asking for iReports from CNN viewers directly affected by the war in Iraq. Josh Lev's here with a few that we have already received. Josh?
Yeah, they're pouring in. It's great. You know, we go on air and ask for them, and boom, they appear. Love it. Kira, this is the deal. It's something brand new. As you know, iReport is a very popular feature that we have, iReport.com. But we're inaugurating something brand new right now. This is the main screen, iReport.com/Iraq, and it's all about Iraq and the next president. I've made this text huge so you all will be able to see it. This is the point. If you or a loved one have previously served or are currently serving in the military in Iraq, please share your story. Tell us the most important thing the next president needs to know about Iraq. What we're doing is we're reaching out to you. If you're in the military or a loved one, is what do you want to show the president, the people running for president, and what do you want to hear from them? And as we said, we've already been hearing from some people. For example, we've gotten this already. This comes to us from Sergeant Steve Hartman, and actually our control room can take a prettier version of it. He sent us these photos today. Now, he does security in Iraq, and he writes to us about how he's been getting this opportunity to work with all these people from all over the world, and it's really opening his eyes to multicultural experiences. So when he wrote his comments, here's what he had to say, and let's show you this quote here. He says, "I would like the new president to bring back a strong United States in the eyes of the world through more collaboration with other countries to better their economic situations, which would help make allies for the future to shape new policies on energy, food, and other important issues." So that's what Sergeant Steve Hartman is telling us right there. And I'll show you quickly, before I bring it back to Kira, that we are getting more as well. In fact, last hour we mentioned one over here that we've gotten from Wendy Raymond. She sent us a picture of her husband, Scott, who is serving in Iraq right now, and she talked about the toll that the war takes on marriages. She says, look, I have a great marriage, but I'm seeing way too many marriages break up. This is a big problem. I want to hear the president talk about how he's going to help keep families together, not just how we can keep people in Iraq. So whatever your angle is, if you or a loved one is serving in Iraq or has served in Iraq, feel free to go to iReport.com/Iraq. Send your photos, your videos, just your stories, whatever you want, and we in turn will share them here. And who knows, maybe whoever's running for president, whoever becomes the next president, will eventually respond to that, Kira.
All right, Josh, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
The presumed culprit pulled off store shelves and restaurant menus. But if tomatoes are behind the salmonella outbreak, why are people still getting sick?
And what are the chances that your favorite actors will walk the picket lines? Hear what the head of their union says right here in the CNN Newsroom.
But first, Army Major Dwayne M. Kelly, one of America's fallen heroes. The 48-year-old Kelly died last Tuesday in a bomb attack on an office in Sadr City in Baghdad. Back home, he was a New Jersey state trooper who worked with the department's terrorism task force.
Asbestos, tiny and deadly, triggering an incurable cancer, mesothelioma. For 30 years, the law firm of Barron & Budd has helped thousands receive compensation from the companies responsible for their exposure to asbestos. By law, you have a limited time to act, so call 800-946-9646 for a free legal consultation. Barron & Budd, protecting what's right.
From the network that brought you God's Warriors, Planet in Peril. Now an unprecedented CNN investigation. Black in America. Coming this July on CNN.
This is Mary.
Mary Shannon with the U.S. Marshals.
Her job is to help people run away from their lives.
Do whatever I deem necessary to protect my witness.
When she's not running away from her own.
How long have you been screwing my boyfriend? You slept with Raph too? Oh my God. Mom?
In Plain Sight, a new original series. Sundays at 10, only on USA Network.
Brought to you by Larry Miller Honda of Hillsboro, your clear choice for any new or used Honda. HondaHillsboro.com.
Presenting Blue from American Express. The card with no annual fee and an introductory rate of 0% for up to 15 months with a low APR after. Call 1-800-600-BLUE or visit us online to get yours. You can pay over time, which makes this card remarkably flexible. It has a free rewards program with so many choices, it'll make your head spin. Plus, it has a fraud detection system which gives you extra security when you shop. All this with an introductory rate of 0% for up to 15 months and a low APR after. Call 1-800-600-BLUE or visit us online to apply. Blue from American Express.
The Red Sox will open a 3-game set in Boston tomorrow night. And in Boise. And Boise. And Birmingham. Beautiful night here in Chicago. And in Charlotte. And Chattanooga. The Yankees take the field in New York. And in Newport Beach.
With the MLB Extra Innings Package, your team is in your town no matter where you live. Catch all your team's games or scout the competition with MLB Extra Innings. Call 1-888-COMCAST to order now.
With MLB Extra Innings, I guess I can work from home.
I wish you would.
CNN, the most trusted name in news.
All right, so if there are lingering questions about the cause of a nationwide salmonella scare originally linked to tomatoes, now health officials aren't so sure. Stores pull the tomatoes from their shelves and restaurants have taken them off the menus, but more people are getting sick. Well, the CDC says there have been more than 800 cases in 36 states and the District of Columbia. Health officials spent the weekend searching for other possible sources of the outbreak, checking fields, warehouses, and distribution centers in Mexico and also in Florida. Get more on the safety of your food. It is a Lou Dobbs special report. It's at 7 Eastern right here on CNN.
Published report details a daring secret plan to capture or kill Osama bin Laden and his top lieutenants. The New York Times reports that late last year, U.S. Special Forces were about to head into the mountains of Pakistan to respond to a buildup of al-Qaeda training camps. 6 months later, the Times says the special ops teams are still waiting for the green light. The Times also says that al-Qaeda has a new band of terrorist camps where they can plan and train attacks on Western targets. And you can expect more on this story at the top of the hour in the Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer. John Roberts filling in for Wolf today.
A young murder suspect is found dead in his cell in Maryland, and police are baffled by the case. The news keeps coming. We'll bring it to you right here in the CNN Newsroom.
And Navy hospital man Dustin K. Burnett of Fort Mojave, Arizona, one of America's fallen heroes today. Burnett died June 20th in a roadside bombing in western Afghanistan. He was just 19 years old.
Asbestos, tiny and deadly, triggering an incurable cancer, mesothelioma. For 30 years, the law firm of Barron & Budd has helped thousands receive compensation from the companies responsible for their exposure to asbestos. By law, you have a limited time to act, so call 800-946-9646 for a free legal consultation. Barron & Budd, protecting what's right.
Every American is an independent thinker, no matter your party, no matter your candidate. Get the facts from the only news channel to give you all sides.
It's a sprint now. We're going to be watching every single step of the way.
No spin, no affiliation, no agenda. Get the facts. Demand the truth. We do. You do too. It's the most important story this year. Declare your independence. Only CNN equals politics.
Some things just get better over time. And if you're a homeowner age 62 years or older, a reverse mortgage could make this the best time of your life. Hi, I'm Robert Wagner for the Senior Lending Network. A reverse mortgage is a government-insured loan that allows homeowners 62 and over to access the equity in their homes without making any monthly loan payments. I know it sounds too good to be true, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. That's why the Senior Lending Network created this free educational video. It'll tell you all about government regulations, insurances and safeguards, costs and fees associated with reverse mortgage, estate planning and inheritance issues, and much, much more. So if you're a homeowner, 62 years or older, let me send you your free video right now. It really could make this the best time of your life.
Call 1-800-475-2716 for your free reverse mortgage video and information kit. That's 1-800-475-2716.
In February 2009, TV stations will broadcast exclusively in digital. Every TV that's hooked up to cable will still work just fine. But if you get TV through an antenna on an analog set, it won't work after February 2009. So call 888-DTV-2009 to learn about a government coupon program that begins in January, or visit dtvtransition.org.
An accused cop killer dies, and police in Maryland are at a loss to explain why. Here's Rich Reeves from our affiliate WJLA.
Authorities at Prince George's County Correctional Center say they have no idea why 19-year-old accused murderer Ronnie White would be found unconscious in his maximum security cell.
Certainly there was no cloth or rope or material tied around his neck. There were no cuts on his wrist or anything.
White, facing a first-degree murder charge in connection with the Friday death of Prince George's County Corporal Richard Finley, appeared fine earlier in the day.
At 10:15 a.m. this morning, correctional officers found him sitting on his bed, alert. When officers returned 15 minutes later to serve him his lunch, he was unresponsive.
White was transported to the hospital and pronounced dead. Just yesterday, he was accused of striking and fatally injured Corporal Finley with this stolen pickup.
This officer was confronted by criminals who would not yield to an appropriate law enforcement authority.
Police apprehended White and 3 others after a massive manhunt. As a high-security inmate, White was kept in solitary confinement and checked every half hour. Authorities don't suspect foul play.
He was of sound mind, showed no signs of a suicide or depression.
That was Rich Reeves from our affiliate WJLA. The officer White was accused of killing was a 10-year veteran of the police department.
Well, don't say the word strike around Alan Rosenberg. The head of the Screen Actors Guild doesn't want to hear it. He calls any such talk a distraction. The contract between SAG and Hollywood's major studios runs out at 1 minute after midnight. Union leaders say that they're willing to keep talking.
Let's get you live now to Pipersville, Pennsylvania, where we're going to show you John McCain on stage. Do we have John McCain there? There it is, a crowd, and you see his wife Cindy McCain there as well, being introduced by the folks there in Pipersville, Pennsylvania. This is a town hall meeting for them. We're going to check in just a little bit right here in the CNN Newsroom. Otherwise, the Situation Room with John Roberts will have it for you at the top of the hour. We're back in a moment.
CNN Sunday Night. Stories of children at risk around the world. A CNN special hosted by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. UNICEF activists tell you how to make a difference. The Survival Project, one child at a time. CNN Sunday Night, 8 Eastern.
Closed captioning hours provided by Kaopectate. Stop diarrhea fast with Kaopectate.
Travel, stress, eating on the run. Diarrhea just stops me.
KO speeds to the source to shut down diarrhea and its discomfort. Stop it fast with Kaopectate.
It's my lifeline. It's my A-list. It's my favorite movie. It's my update. It's my ticket in. It's my way home. Turn left. It's my instinct. It's my world. Visitors are welcome.
The new Instinct. It's from Samsung. It's for you.
Let me tell you about a very important phone call I made. When I got my Medicare card, I realized I needed an AARP Medicare Supplement insurance card too.
One simple call gave me the chance to talk with a personal health insurance advisor
Who answered all my questions about Medicare supplement plans.
If you're already on or eligible for Medicare, call now to find out how an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, helps you pay some of the 20% of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare Part B. That can save you thousands of dollars. These are the only Medicare supplement insurance plans exclusively endorsed by AARP, a name you trust. When you call now, we'll send you this free information kit, plus this free guide to understanding Medicare.
I can keep my own doctor and choose my own hospital.
and I don't need a referral to see a specialist.
Call 1-800-673-4168 now. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting.
Some things just get better over time. And if you're a homeowner age 62 years or older, a reverse mortgage could make this the best time of your life. Hi, I'm Robert Wagner for the Senior Lending Network. A reverse mortgage is a government-insured loan that allows homeowners 62 and over to access the equity in their homes without making any monthly loan payments. I know it sounds too good to be true, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. That's why the Senior Lending Network created this free educational video. It'll tell you all about government regulations, insurances and safeguards, costs and fees associated with reverse mortgage, estate planning and inheritance issues, and much, much more. So if you're a homeowner, 62 years or older, let me send you your free video right now. It really could make this the best time of your life.
Call 1-800-475-2716 for your free reverse mortgage video and information kit. That's 1-800-475-2716.
We're going to wrap up just a couple minutes early. John Roberts in for Wolf Blitzer today in the Situation Room. Don?
Yeah, we get a free afternoon. 4 whole minutes, Kira. Yeah, we're going to go now.
What do we do with ourselves?
I don't know. John McCain. We're going to listen to this John McCain speech in Pipersville, Pennsylvania, and he's going to take it to the Situation Room. See you tomorrow, Kira.
All right, bye-bye.
Our veterans to raise their hands and say thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. Thank you very much. Thank you and God bless. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, and thanks for serving. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I see we have veterans ranging from our greatest generation to those who have served in Iraq and Afghanistan, so I'm very grateful. My friends, we don't have a whole lot of time today, so I'm going to make my opening comments brief because I think it's important that we understand the importance of the town hall meeting. It's not just an opportunity for you to hear from me. It's an opportunity for me to hear from you. Americans are hurting right now. Today, people are sitting around the kitchen table figuring out how they're going to afford their health care, how they're going to stay in their homes. Some have recently and suddenly lost their jobs. So I need to hear from you. I need for you to hear from me how I'm going to get this country back on track and how we're going to restore the prosperity and the greatness of this nation, which is the obligation of every generation of Americans, which is to hand on to another generation a better country and a more prosperous and a safer one than the one we inherited. But I'd also like to tell you just very briefly, as you know, I come from the great state of Arizona, and I'm very proud of Arizona. And those of you that occasionally come and visit us in the wintertime, we're very grateful. I just have to tell you that California has stolen all of Arizona's water, which is really a tragedy. And in fact, because of that, Arizona has so little water, the trees chase the dogs. But I also would like to tell you about an unhappy tradition in the state of Arizona. And that is that it's because Barry Goldwater from Arizona ran for President of the United States. And a guy named Morris Udall from Arizona ran for President of the United States. And another guy named Bruce Babbitt from Arizona ran for President of the United States. And I, from Arizona, ran for President of the United States. Arizona may be the only state in America where mothers don't tell their children that someday they can grow up and be President of the United States. But I'm going to win Pennsylvania, and I'm going to reverse that unhappy tradition, and I'm going to be President of the United States, and they will no longer, and we will no longer, and we in Arizona will no longer be able to tell that joke ever again. So, and we've got about 130 some days. I want to just mention to you, what are the issues in this campaign? They are reform, and they are peace, prosperity, and they're peace. And I'm just going to mention just a couple of issues with you, and then I want to respond to your questions and comments. And thank you again for being here. But as far as reform is concerned, I don't think that I have to remind you that unfortunately we in Washington and we Republicans let spending get completely out of control. And when we did, we lost the trust and confidence of the American people. And that spending became red corruption. And I don't say that lightly, because we have now former members of Congress now residing in federal prison because of this system. You know, Ronald Reagan used to say, Congress spends money like a drunken sailor, only I never knew a sailor drunk or sober with the imagination of Congress. And that's a pretty good line. It gets a little chuckle. Well, I use it so often, I'm not making this up. I got an email from a guy that said, as a former drunken sailor, I resent being compared to members of Congress. And my friends, when you see the approval ratings of Congress, in the last few days, there have been polls. One that had approval rating of Congress at 13%, another one at 12%, all-time historic lows. And you know what they just did? With the housing crisis that we have, and I don't have to tell anybody in this room about the housing crisis, the Congress decides to take a 2-week vacation for the 4th of July without passing a housing bill to help people stay in their homes. No wonder that approval rating is so low. I want to tell you right now, I've got a veto pen that Ronald Reagan gave me years ago, a pen. I'm going to use it. I'm going to veto every single pork barrel project that comes across my desk, and I'll make them famous, and you'll know their names. And you'll know their names. I'll make them famous. So let me say that we will reform government, then we'll reform Social Security, then we'll reform Medicare, and we will make government responsive to the people. And you'll hear this from me over and over and over again. My friends, I have always my whole life, and I will as President of the United States, I will put my country first. You can count on that I'll put my country first. Now, if I could just mention to you one issue about prosperity, and then mention obviously peace, and I'll make it quick. My friends, we're in an energy crisis in America. If anybody's been to the gas station lately, you know that the cost of a gallon of gas continues to go up and up and up. Steve and John were just telling me $800,000 additional cost to transport the product that they have just this year. And my friends, that then gets reflected in inflation all over. So, my friends, we're going to have to eliminate our dependence on foreign oil. There's 3 major reasons for it. One is our economy. We cannot continue to send $400 billion a year or more, or $500 billion or $600 billion, wherever it reaches, to foreign countries that don't like us very much. And some of that money ends up in the hands of terrorist organizations. We got to stop it.
John McCain in a campaign appearance in Pipersville, Pennsylvania today. A big day of political news and a lot to tell you about. Happening now, Barack Obama and Bill Clinton break their silence. New information about their private conversation just coming in. I'll ask Clinton insider Terry McAuliffe all about that. Plus, Obama offers a new defense of his patriotism. Also this hour, John McCain's Truth Squad. He's responding to an attack by Obama supporter Wesley Clark on whether he's qualified to be commander-in-chief. And impersonating the president. Democrats try a provocative new tactic using a Bush sound-alike to target House Republicans. Wolf Blitzer is off today. I'm John Roberts in New York. You're in the Situation Room. Barack Obama reaching out to Bill Clinton today in a very personal, very private way for the first time since locking up the nomination. This coming 3 days after Obama found unity with Hillary Clinton. But the former president may be tougher to sell on togetherness. Let's go straight to our senior political correspondent, Candy Crowley. Candy, what are you hearing about the conversation?
Well, what we are hearing from the Clinton side is that, quote, it was a very good conversation, according to the office of the former president. On the Obama side, we are hearing that he thought it was a terrific conversation. Listen, this is the breaking of the ice. Obviously, Barack Obama really does want to use President Clinton, former President Clinton. Former President Clinton is saying, look, I'll go out, I'll campaign. Talked to somebody recently just after this phone call who said he did think they would probably have a campaign event with the Clintons, plural, and Barack Obama sometime before the convention, but that obviously is up to the Obama camp. So they coordinated these messages that they sent out, these emails that they sent out confirming the phone call. Obama put his out first and then President Clinton. So they are trying to get in sync. But you're right, this has long been seen as a tougher sell than Hillary Clinton, but there he is on board today.
Candy, let's turn to Senator Obama's message of the day. In the lead up to the 4th of July holiday, he's launching his most concerted effort yet to reassure voters that he shares their values and loves his country. Talking really about patriotism here. He spoke today in the battleground state of Missouri, the town of Independence, childhood home of President Harry Truman. Let's listen to what he said.
At certain times over the last 16 months, I found for the first time my patriotism challenged. At times as a result of my own carelessness, more often as a result of the desire by some to score political points and raise fears and doubts about who I am and what I stand for. So let me say this at the outset of my remarks. I will never question the patriotism of others in this campaign. And I will not stand idly by when I hear others question mine.
So, Candy, what is driving this new push by Obama on patriotism?
Well, it's something that he has talked about before on the trail. But, you know, John, the emails have been coming for some time now, almost since the day that Barack Obama announced, questioning his patriotism. He talked about mistakes he had made. There was a time at a steak fry, of all things, in Iowa, put on by the senator from there, Tom Harkin, where the Star-Spangled Banner was playing. And there is this now famous picture of Barack Obama. His hand is not over his heart, while other candidates do have that. So that's one of the mistakes. He said, listen, I was listening to the music. I didn't do it. It was a mistake. There was a whole kerfuffle about why he didn't wear a flag pin, which, by the way, he wears now, one that was given to him by a veteran. So all of these things sort of got eaten up inside cyberspace and keep coming out. So obviously this is something they're going to push back. 4th of July week, a great time to do it. And you heard him say, listen, I'm not going to stand by while people do this. And they also think that there's been an awful lot of coverage about that picture. So they're just trying to push back now, as they have over time on the campaign trail, John.
Well, if there's ever a time to talk about patriotism, this is it.
Absolutely.
Candy Crowley for us in Washington. Candy, thanks. Now to John McCain taking command of his own Truth Squad. His campaign pressed into action to respond to sharp criticism coming from an ally of Barack Obama. And that would be retired General Wesley Clark, Clark took a weekend hit at McCain, targeting his history as a war hero and his possible future as president. Let's go to CNN's Dana Bash. And Dana, you could tell exactly what Wesley Clark was doing here. He was trying to hit it directly at the heart of John McCain's credentials and life story.
You're exactly right, John. And the McCain campaign scrambled a conference call today to respond to that with some of his comrades from Vietnam, some colleagues on Capitol Hill, and ironically, a veteran who was involved in the Swift boat attacks against John Kerry in 2004. But this is what they're referring to inside the McCain camp as the Truth Squad, to talk up McCain's military credentials. But it is also to try to suggest Obama is suffering from some hypocrisy.
If John McCain is known for anything, it's his 5.5 years as a Vietnam POW. So why is he defending it?
I'm proud of my record of service.
Here's why.
Well, I don't think riding in a fighter plane and getting shot down is a qualification to be president.
Retired General Wesley Clark is a Barack Obama supporter and appeared on television as his surrogate. Camp McCain pounced on Clark's comments to feed their central theme about Obama. He isn't what you think.
Let's drop this idea that Barack Obama is somehow raising the dialogue and raising the debate in this campaign.
McCain aides argue Clark's comments are part of a pattern of Obama allowing surrogates to impugn McCain's service, not condemning it, like when Senator Jay Rockefeller slammed McCain for dropping bombs as an American fighter pilot in Vietnam. You have to care about the lives of people. McCain never gets into those issues, said Rockefeller. But McCain aides note the Democratic candidate himself is careful to take the high road.
For those like John McCain, who have endured physical torment in service to our country, no further proof of such sacrifice is necessary. No one should ever devalue that service, especially for the sake of a political campaign.
Do you think that Senator Obama is being hypocritical here?
I don't know. I know that that General Clark is not an isolated incident, but I have no way of knowing how much involvement Senator Obama has in that issue. I know he has mischaracterized some of my statements in the past.
Now, a spokesman for Senator Obama said, quote, of course he rejects General Clark's statement that riding in a plane and getting shot down isn't necessarily a qualification for president. The McCain campaign responded, John, by saying that we've learned that we need to wait to see what Obama does rather than take him at his word. John.
Dana Bash this afternoon for us from the capital of Pennsylvania. Dana, thanks very much. Being a war veteran is no guarantee of presidential success, as we have seen during the past 4 elections. Back in 1992, World War II veteran George Herbert Walker Bush lost to Bill Clinton, who never served in the military. Another World War II vet, Bob Dole, lost to Clinton in '96. In 2000, Vietnam War veteran Al Gore lost to George W. Bush, who served in the Texas National Guard but never saw combat. And decorated Vietnam veteran John Kerry lost to Bush in 2004. It's 12 minutes after the hour. Time now for the Cafferty File, and Jack Cafferty joins us. Good afternoon, Jack.
They're getting their money's worth out of you today, aren't they?
You know, I'm trying to compete with Wolf for the Iron Man of the Year award. We're doing a triathlon next week.
You may challenge for the trophy. Time's apparently running out to do something about Iran's nuclear program. In the latest issue of New Yorker, Cy Hirsch reports the U.S. has now stepped up covert operations inside that country. Everything from spying on Iran's nuclear program to supporting rebel groups that are opposed to the country's ruling clerics. Meanwhile, a former head of the Israeli intelligence agency, Mossad, told London's Sunday Telegraph that Iran may have a nuclear weapon within 1 year. And he says there's no doubt that Iran intends to use it once it gets it. He says the time is getting shorter now for Israel to act. Unlike the U.S., which has spent more than 5 years looking for Osama bin Laden and invading Iraq and not succeeding at either one, the Israelis tend not to mess around. Ask Syria. Last year, an Israeli airstrike reportedly targeted a partially built Syrian nuclear reactor. Ask Iraq. Back in 1981, Israel bombed a nuclear reactor in Baghdad, saying they thought it was making nuclear weapons to destroy Israel. While the international community, led by President Bush, continues to bluster and sanction and threaten, Iran continues its relentless march toward nuclear weapons. There's a lot of stuff the civilized world doesn't want to deal with. Iran having nuclear weapons would be somewhere near the very top of that list. Unless they have a change of heart, a la North Korea, it looks more and more now like Iran's going to go all in. And it's going to eventually be up to somebody in the West to decide whether or not to call. Here's the question. If Iran is attacked, who should do it? The United States, or Israel. Go to CNN.com/Cafferty file. You can post a comment on my blog.
Provocative question this afternoon. And
We try.
Of course, that article by Seymour Hersh as well in the New Yorker, saying that covert activity has increased. We'll be talking to him later on this afternoon.
Good. Look forward to it. You know, he hasn't been wrong yet about anything he's reported out of the Middle East, starting at Abu Ghraib.
The State Department continues to laugh at him, though, so we'll
Yeah,
talk to him
well,
about all that.
We'll see.
All right, Jack, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton's office is now calling Barack Obama a, quote, inspiration, as the former president put his primary season anger behind him. I will ask the man who's in charge of Hillary Clinton's campaign, Terry McAuliffe. Plus, a McCain ally's scary warning about a new terror attack. The politics of fear playing out right now in the 2008 election campaign. And Democrats find a new way to saddle Republican candidates with the president's baggage. They've hired a Bush impersonator. You're in the Situation Room.
Thanks for calling Ditech. How may I help you? Well, we offer a lot of choices, but for your situation, I'd recommend refinancing into our low fixed rate.
To get a historically low rate of 6% from a lender that's part of the GMAC family, visit Ditech.com or call 1-800-DITECH-1 today.
Have 50,000 going once, twice, sold to the gentleman in the center.
I want to go ahead and sell it now.
Constantly buying and selling stocks doesn't make much sense either. That's why Edward Jones advises clients to buy long-term investments.
Kids as young as 10 sniff the vapors of ordinary household products to get high. They don't know that sniffing can cause instant death. Talk to your kids. If you know what they're doing, they're much less likely to sniff inhalants.
My name is Armando Gentry, and I'm a technician with Comcast. I install Comcast digital cable, internet, and phone service. On Comcast Cares Day, I joined about 50,000 Comcast employees, family, and other volunteers across the country to make the communities we serve a better place for us all. While landscaping at Mount St. Vincent's home, I was honored to contribute Comcast's 1 millionth hour of volunteer service. I'm proud to work for a company that invests in our community. Comcast Cares Day is my favorite day of the year.
CNN, the most trusted name in news.
They have talked, now what? Moments ago, we reported that Barack Obama and Bill Clinton had their first conversation since Obama essentially locked up the nomination. It was a private conversation, and statements from both sides say they are impressed by each other. Here to talk more about this is the man who ran Hillary Clinton's campaign as chairman, Terry McAuliffe. Terry, good afternoon. Good to see you. What can you tell us about this conversation?
Well, you know, I was on CNN yesterday. I said, I don't know what all the fuss is about. The president is now back in the country. He was traveling all over the world, and he'll talk in the next 24, 48 hours. Sure enough, they spoke today. The president said he had a great conversation, ready to go on the campaign trail, do whatever Barack Obama wants him to do, whatever the Democrats need him to do. So just as I thought, just as I said yesterday, that, you know, it was a great conversation. He's ready to go to make sure the Democrats win this fall.
There was all this talk, Terry, about lingering anger, that the former president thought that the Obama campaign was trashing his record at the same time as they were running on issues that were very close to his heart. There were also some concerns that some people had raised that they were portraying him as a racist during the South Carolina campaign. Was there any of that lingering anger, and did they, in a sense, bury the hatchet during this phone call?
Well, they didn't have to bury the hatchet because many of these stories, John, had come out, as I said yesterday, just weren't true. Did some of us in the campaign angry about some of the way the press treated the campaign? Sure. Some of the ways we ran the campaign? Sure. But you know what? Once it was over, we had to look forward. That's how Bill Clinton is. He is positive. He's ready to move forward. So it was a very good conversation. Thursday night, we were with Senator Obama in Washington. Friday, did the event in New Hampshire. Everybody is together. This is a historic time. Picking up seats in the Senate, picking up seats in the House. We have 80% of the state legislatures up this year. We do very well there for the 2010 redistricting reapportionment. This is a huge opportunity for the Democratic Party, and we can only do it working together.
So President Clinton has offered his services. I assume that includes going out in the campaign trail, doing events with him or doing them separately. I recall that he made a similar offer back in the 2000 campaign. Al Gore did not take him up on it. Yep. And some people say it was a mistake for him not to do that. He was running away from Bill Clinton as opposed to running beside him. Would you suggest that Barack Obama use Bill Clinton to maximum effect?
Sure, I would. And as you know, John Kerry in 2004 used him tremendously. people do remember the 90s as tremendous economic growth, 22 million new jobs created, peace around the world, so many programs that worked. People felt better. Everybody did better in this great country, and everybody felt better about America when Bill Clinton was president. So people very fondly remember the former president. He's the first Democrat to win 2 terms since Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He's a huge figure on the campaign trail. He's revered all over the world. So sure, he's going to use him in campaign, but let's be honest here, John. Barack Obama is the one running for president. That's what people want to listen to. They want to hear what he has to say, how he's going to take this country in a new direction. But, you know, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, everybody else is going to be in order to help Barack Obama become the next president. The stakes are too great. We all got to work together. We've got gas prices now over $4 a gallon. We have record job losses, huge debts. We spent $123 billion in Iraq. People want to go in a new direction. Barack Obama will take us there with the help of Bill, Hillary Clinton, as well as all the Democrats.
Terry, everybody knows that the former president is a very, very astute and effective politician. He is a magnificent public speaker. But during the primary season, some things happened that have left a bad taste in some people's mouths. So, for example, what happened in South Carolina. Even the House Majority Whip James Clyburn says that, you know, his sense of Bill Clinton was tainted somewhat by that campaign. He even told him to chill a little bit. Is there out there on the campaign trail still some lingering animosity toward Bill Clinton for some of the things he did during the primary campaign?
Well, I've been out there campaigning all over the country. When I traveled with the president or saw him, I mean, huge crowds came out to see him. You got to remember, Hillary received 18 million votes. He had huge crowds wherever he went. And let's be honest, his wife was running for president of the United States of America. He felt passionately about it. He felt passionately that she would be a spectacular president, take this country in new directions and deal in health care and education. You know, so he was a huge plus. And I know the press, you know, during the campaign, is Bill Clinton out there too much? Well, then it was, why is Bill Clinton not out there? I mean, the poor guy can't win. He did a magnificent job as president of this country, and he did a magnificent job on the campaign trail. He is focusing most of his attention, John, on the Clinton Global Initiative. He has raised billions of dollars. There are literally thousands of people who receive AIDS treatment every day around the world because of Bill Clinton. Yes, sir.
Terry, one of the big questions is, what role will he play at the convention? It would seem pretty much a given that Hillary Clinton will have a night to make a speech. Yep. Should Bill Clinton introduce her, or should it be somebody else? Should it be Chelsea? Because some people have observed that if Bill Clinton speaks before Hillary Clinton, he seems to sort of capture the limelight, and she has a difficult job performing at the same level as him. So should he introduce her, or should Chelsea Clinton introduce her at the convention?
Well, I'm not going to get into who did better or not, because, you know, that's a no-win situation for me. I mean, Hillary was magnificent on the campaign trail. But listen, having run the last 2 Democratic conventions, where I'm going to leave it up to the convention organizers to obviously work with Hillary's office and Bill Clinton's office. But he will be there. As I say, people remember very fondly what happened in the 90s under his leadership. He left office, John, just remember this, with the highest approval rating of any second-term president in the history of our country. Higher than Ronald Reagan. I mean, he left office, everybody around the world. He's a beloved figure. And he still is today. So he will have a role, because obviously he will energize people, get them excited. Ultimately, they're going to go vote for Barack Obama. But to remind the Democrats of a great economy compared to what we have today, where people around the world don't think so positively about us as they did speak so fondly when he was president, that all helps create the dialogue for the Democratic Party to win up and down the ballot.
Well, we'll keep on watching, of course, Terry, very closely to see just how much they utilize the ex-president. Terry McAuliffe, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Some people would say to you, be very afraid. One senator says the U.S. will likely suffer a terror attack next year, but injecting fear in the campaign may backfire. And if you're trying to fight fat, something happening tomorrow here in New York that will help you. It'll affect nearly all sweets and many fast food items that you eat.
The mad dash is on. It's all about bandwidth. At this rate, some say the internet will be all filled up by the year 2010. That's it. No more space. Unless we find a solution. Quick. No time to lay new pipes, ripping and replacing the communications infrastructure of the entire Earth. Who thinks that is a good idea? Plenty, I'm afraid. But not naughty. They put their collective minds together and created a better solution, a more cost-effective solution. That solution is 40 gig. 4 times the existing capacity in an instant. while providing an evolutionary path to 100 gig. Is it really that simple? Yes. This is Nortel's 40 gig. Why make it hard when you can make it simple?
CNN Soledad O'Brien, a year-long investigation across America. A story that unites, divides, and affects every American. See what it means today to be Black in America. July 23rd and 24th on CNN.
Every American is an independent thinker. Get the facts from the only news channel to give you all sides. Get the facts. Demand the truth. We do. You do too. Declare your independence. Only CNN equals politics.
You can be free to live your life and still manage your diabetes with Freestyle blood glucose meters. And right now, you can get a free meter and starter test strips just by calling. With the latest Freestyle meters, there's no inconvenient coding. Just give the world's smallest blood sample to get the results you need. Call for a Freestyle meter that fits your life, like the new Freestyle Freedom Light meter. Easy to read and use so you can live more freely. Call for your free meter today, because freedom never goes out of style.
In February 2009, TV stations will broadcast exclusively in digital. Every TV that's hooked up to cable will still work just fine. If you get TV through an antenna, you can still keep your sets working. Just call 888-DTV-2009 to learn about a government coupon program for converter boxes, or visit dtvtransition.org.
Our Carol Costello is monitoring stories incoming to the Situation Room now. Carol, what do you got for us?
Well, John, President Bush signed a bill to pay for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan for the rest of his term, and a few months into his successor's term. The $162 billion bill brings to more than $650 billion the total amount Congress has provided for the Iraq war since it began.
It provides necessary funds to support our troops as they conduct military operations in Iraq and Afghanistan and in other theaters in the war on terror. I appreciate that Republicans and Democrats in Congress agreed to provide these vital funds without tying the hands of our commanders and without an artificial timetable of withdrawal from Iraq.
The supplemental spending bill also expands education benefits for veterans, extends unemployment benefits, and provides disaster assistance for the flood-stricken Midwest. A Medicare meltdown avoided for now. The Bush administration is delaying a scheduled 10.6% cut in fees paid to some 600,000 doctors. Saves lawmakers from facing angry seniors over the July 4th recess. Congress is expected to vote to prevent the cuts when it returns. Investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board in northern Arizona are probing why two helicopters, both carrying a patient to a hospital, crashed yesterday. Upon impact, one exploded, raining down fiery debris and igniting a fire on the ground. 6 people died. Though medical helicopters saved lives and these accidents are rare, there are certainly risks. NTSB figures show there have been 9 medical helicopter crashes this year, including the one you're seeing, and those crashes have killed 16 people. The agency's chairman calls it part of a disturbing national trend. New York restaurants cut the fat. The city's trans fat ban goes into full effect tomorrow. That means no more of the artery-clogging substance in fried, frozen, or baked food, not even the Big Apple's famous cannoli. But chefs assure they've come up with a trans fat-free cannoli that's just as good, John.
And that's always good news. Carol Costello, thanks. You're in the Situation Room, and happening now, a controversial claim. A Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist writes that the U.S. has escalated highly secretive operations inside Iran as part of efforts to destabilize Iran's government. Seymour Hersh will be here, and I'll ask him how he arrived at his conclusions. Also, has the hunt for the world's most wanted terrorist been hampered by Bush administration officials arguing over how to do it? And Barack Obama and John McCain have both been to Iraq, but there is a political point to these and other foreign trips they're planning. Wolf Blitzer is off today. I'm John Roberts in New York. You're in the Situation Room. Whether you vote out of fear or some other criteria, how you vote could dramatically change Congress's balance of power. According to the Capitol Hill newspaper roll call, there are 12 Democratic seats open in the House, but 36 Republican seats are open. To win, and keep some of them. Democrats are using a controversial tactic. CNN's Kathleen Koch is here. Kathleen, they're tying Republican candidates to President Bush. Is that going to be an effective strategy?
They're hoping so, John. You know, they say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but new energy-related radio ads that Democrats are rolling out today are anything but flattering to the president and the GOP.
When President Bush used an impersonator at the 2006 White House Correspondents' Dinner, it was all in good fun.
How come I can't have dinner with the 36% of the people who like me?
But the GOP's not laughing now as Democrats borrow the tactic to level a political charge that Republicans have done nothing about high gas prices.
W here. Wanted to thank you for your support of the big oil energy agenda. Sure, gasoline is over $4 a gallon and the oil companies are making record profits. But what's good for big oil is good for America, right?
In the radio ad, the Bush impersonator calls each of 13 incumbent Republicans in districts around the country. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee is spending more than $100,000 for it to run Monday through Friday. The White House has no response. Republicans, including a New Jersey congressman who's among those targeted, have less of a problem with the impersonator and more with Democrats who control Congress, saying Republicans are at fault for failing to help American drivers.
What do we get out of the Democrats? Well, we get Nancy Pelosi flying her private jumbo jet back to California and putting Congress on recess with no resolution to the energy crisis. And now we get attack ads.
Democrats insist it's a fair tactic that makes a valid point.
We think it's important to give credit where credit is due. After all, these are the Bush-Cheney policies. They've been enabled by their allies in the House and the Senate.
Now, with polls showing that gas prices are Americans' top concern, you can expect more such ads. As a matter of fact, the conservative group Freedom's Watch tomorrow releases radio ads in 16 districts, charging Democrats this time with making matters worse by voting against increased domestic oil exploration and production. So, John, the finger pointing continues.
Every election cycle, they find some way to push the envelope. Kathleen Koch for us. Kathleen, thanks. Meanwhile, a conservative group is also running some radio ads, these in 16 congressional districts. They're taking aim at Democratic incumbents, claiming they are partly responsible for high gas prices. The group running the ads is called Freedom's Watch. Its director says congressional Democrats have not done enough to help everyday Americans with high energy prices. It's a nightmarish thought. One John McCain supporter, a senator, says the U.S. will likely be attacked by terrorists next year. But injecting fear in the presidential campaign could hurt. And a controversial claim regarding Barack Obama's stance on a controversial abortion procedure. We'll get to the facts on that. And I'll talk to CNN political contributors Bill Bennett and James Carville about it.
Chris Sinner, Verizon Wireless Network Technician, makes sure that this customer stays in touch with her friends. Project Manager Nancy Pinto makes sure that this one stays in touch with his inner child. Thanks to Jermaine Shorter, Network Engineer, she always knows what's going on. While Network Manager Lee Pauling makes sure this customer always knows where he's going. Internet, videos, music, games, and GPS. Brought to you by the whole Verizon Wireless team.
You know, some things just get better over time. And if you're a homeowner age 62 years or older, a reverse mortgage could make this the best time of your life. Hi, I'm Robert Wagner for the Senior Lending Network. A reverse mortgage is a government-insured loan that allows homeowners 62 and over to access the equity in their homes without making any monthly loan payments. I know it sounds too good to be true, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. That's why the Senior Lending Network created this free educational video. It'll tell you all about government regulations, insurances, and safeguards, costs and fees associated with reverse mortgage, differences between a reverse mortgage and a home equity loan, estate planning and inheritance issues, title retention and home ownership responsibilities, and much, much more. Plus, you'll have access to an improved Senior Lending Network specialist who can personally guide you through the entire reverse mortgage process and help you explore all your options. For your free video, all you have to do is call the toll-free number on the bottom of your screen. Over 1 million homeowners have already called the Senior Lending Network for their free video. And now, it's your turn.
Now that we have the reverse mortgage, it has been like a weight
off of our shoulders.
The reverse mortgage has given me that assurance that I can stay in my home and enjoy it.
So if you're a homeowner, 62 years or older, or if you want to help your parents maintain their financial independence, let me send you your free video right now. It really could make this the best time of your life.
Call the Senior Lending Network now at 1-800-620-9649. That's 1-800-620-9649 for your free reverse mortgage educational video and information kit. Call 1-800-620-9649. That's 1-800-620-9649. Call now.
CNN Sunday Night. Stories of children at risk around the world. A CNN special hosted by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. UNICEF activists tell you how to make a difference. The Survival Project, one child at a time. CNN Sunday Night, 8 Eastern.
Closed captioning hours provided by Vonage. For a better way to phone, call 877-4Vonage.
How much can you save on your phone bill with Vonage? Vonage saves you up to $300 a year. Call 877-4Vonage or go online to 4Vonage.com.
It seemingly happens every presidential cycle. Campaigns telling voters to carefully consider their vote, especially for the sake of national security. In past commercials, we've seen Republicans depict terrorists as wolves, or Hillary Clinton's famous 3 a.m. ad. Now one senator urges you to consider this. The U.S. could be attacked by terrorists again and soon. Carol Costello joins us. So, Carol, we're talking about Senator Joe Lieberman here, who supports John McCain.
We certainly are, and Senator Lieberman says we could suffer another terrorist attack next year, as in 2009. In a single TV appearance, he ratcheted up the politics of fear.
There is no doubt even 7 years after 9/11, a sense of fear still grips America. Not as pervasive, but it's still there. So when a U.S. senator says something like this, voters listen. Or do they?
We're in a war against Islamist extremists who attacked us on 9/11. They've been trying to attack us many ways since then.
Lieberman, who supports both John McCain and the Iraq War, took his comments a step farther, asserting the next attack could come next year.
Because our enemies will test the new president early. Remember that the truck bombing of the World Trade Center happened in the first year of the Clinton administration. 9/11 happened in the first year of the Bush administration.
He went on to say Barack Obama's call to pull American troops out of Iraq will only increase the danger. Some might call that the politics of fear. It's the kind of political language that's been getting louder of late. Last week, McCain advisor Randy Shinneman said, Senator Obama is a perfect manifestation of a September 10th mindset. He does not understand the nature of the enemies we face. That sounds an awful lot like what then Bush advisor Karl Rove said back in 2006, an election year that saw Democrats take control of Congress. It didn't seem to work then, so why would it work now when economic issues outweigh terrorism concerns? Experts in voter behavior put it this way. In politics, the emotions that really sway voters are hate, hope, and fear. The skillful use of fear is unmatched in leading to enthusiasm for one candidate and causing voters to turn away from another. And if Republicans are skillful, that will be good for McCain.
Terrorism is an issue where John McCain excels, and what he's trying to do is make the terrorism the #1 issue in this campaign.
As for what a skillful use of fear is in 2008, that's hard to say, but maybe independent Joe Lieberman is on to something. We'll see. John.
Carol, thanks so much. In the shadow of the Rocky Mountains, a great political divide in Colorado that could swing the presidential race one way or another. John McCain suggests Barack Obama is putting partisanship before the country, the power of negative politics. It's coming up in our strategy session. And now they're treating it as a homicide. New developments in the death of a pregnant U.S. soldier.
Growing a business takes time. But if you're distracted with little problems, you're not focused on the big picture. Quest provides integrated voice, data, and network solutions, giving you time back to make sure your business can reach its potential. Get Quest. Get nimble.
I need to get on the flight to San Francisco. A big venture capital pitch for my business. There you go.
And you said this is a business flight?
Yeah, why?
Please come with us, sir.
How can I help you, sir?
Heading to San Francisco.
Thank you.
If you own your business, own the card that says so.
Very good, sir.
The Gold Card. Now earn enough points for a domestic airline ticket. To apply, call 1-800-NOW-OPEN. American Express Open. Calling all business owners.
Let me tell you about a very important phone call I made. When I got my Medicare card, I realized I needed an AARP Medicare Supplement insurance card too.
One simple call gave me the chance to talk with a personal health insurance advisor
Who answered all my questions about Medicare supplement plans.
If you're already on or eligible for Medicare, call now to find out how an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, helps you pay some of the 20% of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare Part B. That can save you thousands of dollars. These are the only Medicare supplement insurance plans exclusively endorsed by AARP, a name you trust. When you call now, we'll send you this free information kit, plus this free guide to understanding Medicare.
I can keep my own doctor and choose my own hospital.
and I don't need a referral to see a specialist.
Call 1-800-673-4168 now. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting.
Diana didn't feel wanted.
Her deepest secrets, a childhood shadowed by adultery. Soledad O'Brien investigates the Diana you never knew. Growing Up Diana. CNN Saturday night, 8 Eastern.
CNN Soledad O'Brien. A year-long investigation across America. A story that unites, divides, and affects every American. See what it means today to be Black in America. July 23rd and 24th on CNN.
Our Carol Costello is monitoring stories incoming to the Situation Room right now. Carol, what are you picking up?
Well, John, oil giants are lining up as Iraq opens its 6th largest oil fields to international bidding, a move that could increase Iraqi oil production by 1.5 million barrels a day. BP, ExxonMobil, Shell, along with the Chinese and Russian oil giants, are among 35 companies that are in the running for the lucrative long-term contracts. In the meantime, Iraq hopes to wrap up controversial talks on short-term, no-bid contracts, allowing U.S. and European oil companies to service those oil fields. Syria says it wishes it had a nuclear weapons program to counter the arsenal it believes Israel has. Syria's foreign minister made the comment in again denying U.S. claims it was building a secret nuclear reactor at a site Israel bombed last year. UN nuclear inspectors visited the site in northern Syria last week, but they've been banned by Syria from investigating beyond that site. And Israel has agreed to free a convicted murderer and other Lebanese prisoners in exchange for the bodies of 2 Israeli soldiers. Prime Minister Ehud Olmert said the deal with Hezbollah wasn't easy, but Israel has a moral obligation to bring its troops home. Palestinian militants in Gaza hold another Israeli soldier who is still alive, but Hamas says it won't let him go unless Israel frees hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. 2 years later, cyclist Floyd Landis has hit the wall. He's lost his final appeal to restore the Tour de France title that was stripped after his positive doping test. Landis is banned from competition until 2009, and he has to pay $100,000 to the U.S. anti-doping agency. And France's president is apparently backing away from threats to boycott the Beijing Olympics. Nicolas Sarkozy said today he could now attend the August 8th opening ceremonies if talks between China and the Dalai Lama continue to make headway. Sarkozy has been highly critical of China's crackdown on Tibet after mass protests there in March. Back to you, John.
Carol, thanks so much. In the strategy session, John McCain's pointing his finger at Barack Obama for attack-style politics. Meanwhile, the McCain campaign accusing Obama of putting his partisan interests over the country's. Will any of these barbs change anyone's votes? And on our political ticker today, John McCain's campaign takes off.
Can you have a beautiful lawn and use less water? Actually, yes, thanks to Scott's Turf Builder Water Smart formula. A lawn fed the Water Smart way grows healthier roots that use water more efficiently. So your lawn needs less, saving you thousands of gallons a year. Smart. Scott's Turf Builder. Feed the lawn. Water Smart.
CNN Sunday night. Stories of children at risk around the world. A CNN special, The Survival Project. One child at a time. CNN Sunday night, 80.
It's 4th of July savings at Mattress World this week only. Get the Simmons Beauty Rest for only $4.99. That's $400 off. We also have our triple choice firm pleasure pillow top for just $3.99. Other sets as low as $99 each piece, plus free sheets and pillows on select models.
It's not too late to sleep like a baby. Mattress World.
If we can't beat the price on any comparable mattress, then the mattress is free.
Being a teen parent, minimum wage job. And I said, you know what? No excuses for me. I'm on my way. Welcome to my school. Everything that they need in the doctor's office, right here. This is like a second mom. She taught me everything. This is the Career Services Department. They help you to find a great job. Now I'm a certified medical assistant. There's no better feeling.
If she can do it, you can do it. Pick up the phone and call right now and start on the road to a rewarding career and a better life.
At 1-800-833-9413.
When the IRS levied my business and personal accounts, I didn't know where to turn. My CPA recommended American Tax Relief.
If you owe over $10,000 to the IRS or state, call American Tax Relief for a free consultation.
Look, the IRS is offering you a one-time opportunity to settle your debt. This is your 1 second chance. Use it well.
I thought I was going to lose my business, but American Tax Relief got me a second chance.
Call 800-898-0951 for a free consultation.
There's a word that on the street that Mike Riley loves our show.
My question was, after he went down, where was that intensity?
That is going to be a great scene, man.
We're not splitting the atom here.
No. Very well said.
And I just tip my hat to you because you just own up to it.
I got golf to play, man.
I believe whether it's with this program or something else, you will be successful.
I still think there will be good times ahead this year. I'm the eternal optimist.
The Fan with Isaac and Big Soup, weekdays at 3 and encores every night.
Only on Comcast Sportsnet.
American Morning, CNN tomorrow, 6 a.m.
More on our top story now. Moments ago, we reported that Barack Obama and Bill Clinton had their first conversation since Obama essentially locked up the nomination. So what might Bill Clinton's role be in Obama's campaign? Here for our strategy session, CNN political contributor and Democratic strategist Donna Brazil and conservative commentator Terry Jeffrey, the editor-in-chief of the Cybercast News Service. Donna, let's start with you and let's talk about the conversation between Senator Obama and President Clinton. You headed up Al Gore's campaign in the year 2000, and the campaign was criticized for not using Bill Clinton more effectively, basically not just keeping him at arm's length, but keeping him out the door. If you were running Barack Obama's campaign this year, how would you utilize Bill Clinton?
First of all, we utilize Bill Clinton in very strategic ways to help us win the popular vote. There's no question that Senator Obama will use Bill Clinton to help him campaign this fall throughout the country. Bill Clinton is perhaps one of the best known political strategists in the country, but more importantly, he's a former president of the United States. He has a great mind. He can help Senator Obama frame the issues, can be one of the best validators on national security, on domestic issues. So I think this is a net plus for Senator Obama to have President Clinton campaign for him this summer and fall.
Terry, do you think he's an asset to the campaign, or based on some of the episodes that occurred during the primary campaign, might he be a liability among some constituencies?
I think he's a big negative, John. I thought that Senator Clinton's campaign got better and better and better as the Democratic primaries went on, as was revealed by the results. She won more primaries at the end than Senator Obama did, but the biggest handicap Hillary Clinton had was her own husband. I think she hurt him very badly at the end of the campaign. I think it would be a bad thing for Senator Obama to bring President Clinton too close. And quite frankly, I think one of the reasons that Senator Clinton will not be picked as a vice presidential nominee of the Democratic Party is because of her husband.
Well, I disagree, because let me just tell you this. Most voters remember the Clinton-Gore years as years where we had record prosperity, paying down the national deficit. To have Bill Clinton out there talking about the economy, talking about how we get the country back on track, that would be a net plus for Senator Obama and the Democrats up and down the ballot.
Now, the McCain campaign has been engaging in a new strategy. They're trying to paint Senator Obama as a person who puts party interest and self-interest above that of the nation, painting him as a real partisan who they claim has never reached out across party lines to pass anything controversial. Is that a fair charge, Terry Jeffrey?
I think it's a fair charge. He has no serious legislative accomplishments in the United States Senate. But, John, I think a more effective charge would be for the McCain campaign to explain to people in very clear terms why Barack Obama may be the most left-wing candidate ever nominated by a major party. They should talk about the issues where he's way out of step with those people that John McCain was talking to this afternoon in Pennsylvania, which will be a key swing state in this election. These are the very people that Barack Obama said clung to guns and religion because they were bitter.
Right. But you know, if you're saying that he has voted with his party. This is the charge from the McCain campaign, that he's a partisan, he votes with his party, he doesn't do what's in the best interest of the country. But if you look at the congressional quarterly numbers, as reported by factcheck.org, John McCain voted with President Bush 95% of the time in 2007, 100% of the time, only 6 votes in 2008. So, Donna Brazil, who's voting for party here?
You know, I think the charges that the McCain campaign is trying to level against Senator Obama are totally false and inaccurate. The truth is that this campaign is not about demonizing the character of a public servant like Barack Obama. Rather, we should focus on what really voters care about. Focus on the economy, focus on fuel prices, focus on the safety and security. Once again, the Republicans are using the old playbook of the past to try to demonize their opponent, but not tackle the real issues facing the American people.
Terry, Senator Obama came out today and repudiated the remarks of one of his supporters, General Wesley Clark, who said yesterday on CBS's Face of the Nation regarding Senator McCain and his war record that getting shot down does not qualify you to be president. Obviously here, it looks like he is trying to undercut the central strength of John McCain's candidacy, which is his war record and his capability of being commander-in-chief. Did he hurt McCain with that statement?
No, I don't think he hurt McCain. Actually, let me give General Clark some credit. I think it is true that simply because someone was courageous at war or has an outstanding record in combat or even was a great commander of the military does not necessarily mean that they'll be a great president. Ulysses S. Grant was a Union general that won the Civil War. He wasn't necessarily a great president. But I think the mistake politically for General Clark was bringing the focus back on national security. If we have a debate over who will be the better commander-in-chief, who is better capable of handling the national security policy of the United States, John McCain will defeat Barack Obama in that area.
Donna, did Wesley Clark hurt himself by that because Senator Obama did have to come out and repudiate his remarks?
You know, I happen to have watched the show yesterday, and let me tell you, Wesley Clark is a patriot. He was not in any way demonizing John McCain's military service. What he was questioning was, as Terry mentioned, you know, whether or not that is the right experience for Commander-in-Chief. I want to applaud Wes Clark for speaking up, and unfortunately, sometimes your words get taken out of context, but he was not demonizing Mr. McCain's service to this country.
And let's make clear that there are qualities that John McCain demonstrated in his career in the United States military and his experience as a POW that will be valuable for him being president. This is a man of great courage, of great perseverance, someone who truly knows what he believes in, and those are outstanding qualities that we know about John McCain, both from his service in the military and from his long years in public office.
And as Senator Obama said, no one will question Senator McCain's service to his country and his sacrifice. We all applaud his service to our great nation.
Folks, we got to leave it there. It's great to see you. Donna Brazil, Terry Jeffrey, thanks for coming in today for our strategy session.
Good to be here. Thanks.
All right. Stories that we're covering here in the Situation Room. On the political ticker, an institution on the presidential campaign is closing its doors, and business owners are trying to lure you with their places with the ultimate bait, free gasoline. Plus, massive street battles in the streets of South Korea. They're protesting American beef, but is there a larger issue at play?
Diana didn't feel wanted.
Her deepest secrets, a childhood shadowed by adultery. Soledad O'Brien investigates the Diana you never knew. Growing Up Diana, CNN Saturday night, 8 Eastern.
My mom mentioned eHarmony, and I just didn't take myself as a guy who really needed the internet. And then I kind of changed my ideas where it wasn't necessarily to get a date, it was to meet the right person.
Log on and review your matches for free. eHarmony.com.
License, registration, and insurance.
Something wrong, officer?
And your AARP card.
Yeah, here you go. Is there a problem?
Sure is. You belong to AARP, but you don't have their auto insurance from the Hartford. With this insurance, you're spending way too much.
Oh, but I'm already getting a good deal from my insurance company.
Is their program designed for drivers age 50 and over?
Somebody does that?
Yep, AARP. Their auto insurance program could save you money and give you benefits you'll rarely find anywhere else. If I were you, I'd call them now.
Millions of AARP members have already called about the AARP auto insurance program. They're saving $350 when they switch, and you can too. Just call this number now and ask for your free rate quote. You'll enjoy special benefits created exclusively for AARP members. Not an AARP member? Not a problem. Give us a call.
Call 1-800-556-5701. You'll also get this free calculator. Call now.
If your bike won't start, try changing the spark plug.
忙吗？请你给我估价单。对，但是我不念到。
Hey, on t'a pensé trop, qu'est-ce que tu penses?
Go there.
Ok, on y va.
Welcome to a network where video changes everything. Cisco, welcome to the human network.
There's a lot of arguing over financial security in the election. But when the last vote is counted, it's back to party politics that leaves millions unsure about their financial future. Demand action at dividedwefail.org. Enough is enough. Tell Washington to fix health care and ensure financial security for all. Visit dividedwefail.org.
Coverage of America Votes 2008 is brought to you by Cisco. Welcome to the Human Network. And by Divided We Fail. Demand action from the presidential candidates and our leaders at dividedwefail.org. Visit the Election Center at cnn.com/election for in-depth information on the candidates.
Here's a look at some of the hot shots coming in from our friends at the Associated Press this hour. Pictures you're likely to see in your newspaper tomorrow. In a West Bank village, a vendor waits for customers to buy his coffee. In Georgia, a veterinarian and assistants help release a sea turtle to the open ocean. In Iraq, the Baghdad Symphony prepares to play for live audiences. And in Ukraine, a 4,400-pound hippopotamus celebrates its 50th birthday with a fruit basket gift. I didn't know they lived to be 50. And that's this hour's Hot Shots. Pictures worth 1,000 words. On our political ticker, John McCain's campaign goes airborne with a new plane bearing the logo of the Straight Talk Express. The Republican is hoping to recreate the uncensored, unpredictable feel of his famous campaign bus aboard a cushier and more expensive aircraft, and not to mention one that will get where he needs to go faster than a bus will. It also has a special area for him to chat with reporters, colleagues, and pals, very similar to the setup that he had on the bus. Saved so long to a New Hampshire institution. For nearly 3 decades, the Merrimack Diner has been a place for presidential candidates to chew the fat during primary season and maybe sip some chowder, too. The Boston Globe reporting that the Manchester restaurant closed its doors for good over the weekend. As one local political figure fondly remembers, if you were eating at the Merrimack within a month of the primary, you wouldn't be eating alone. And remember, for the latest political news, anytime, check out cnnpolitics.com. That's where you can also download our new political screensaver, and you can check out Wolf Blitzer's blog. Jack Cafferty here again now with the Cafferty File. Hey, Jack.
John, the question this hour is if Iran is attacked, and the retired head of Israeli intelligence says he thinks they'll have a nuclear weapon within a year. So if Iran is attacked, who's going to do it, the United States or Israel? Maureen writes from Massachusetts, if the current administration decides that Iran needs to be invaded, they'll invade. And they'll probably do it right as they walk out the door, handing the whole mess over to the new administration. Right or wrong, it's as simple as that. With the U.S. backing Israel, Russia and China backing Iran, we're poised to start a nuclear war, which will go far beyond the Middle East. Matt in Nebraska says, I can't believe some of the comments saying let Israel attack Iran and then we can defend Israel because we're her ally. That is a load of bull. If Iran's attacked by Israel, Iran has every right and duty to strike back. Our soldiers should not shed one drop of blood to protect Israel. If they want to stir up the hornet's nest, let them take all the stings. Les writes from Florida, under what circumstances would an attack be justified? That would be a better question. An unwarranted attack by the U.S. would be a diplomatic disaster that would completely destroy what little credibility we have left in the area. An unwarranted attack by Israel could lead to a possible use of nuclear weapons on other Arab nations as Israel attempts to protect its position after creating a renewed Arab-Israeli war. Jan in Tennessee, the U.S. should certainly not do it. Our military is overstretched as it is. Americans have had enough war. I really don't think it would be a good idea for Israel to do it either. Shane in Boston says, I have an intelligent idea. How about none of the above? And all I have to point to is North Korea. We sanctioned the hell out of them, used the UN to put increasing pressure on them, and finally, Kim Jong-il broke. The same can be done with Iran. Diplomacy first. If you didn't see your email here, it's because we didn't find it interesting enough to include. You can go to my blog at cnn.com/Cafferty file. It may be there, along with hundreds of others, or we may have just ignored you altogether.
Well, certainly the ones that you did share with us today were worthy of sharing. A lot of strong opinion out there.
I like the hippopotamus picture.
It was a good picture.
Ugly thing.
I didn't know they lived to be that old.
It's because they eat those baskets and leave the fruit.
It's a high-fiber diet. Jack, thanks so much. You're in the Situation Room, and happening now, U.S. forces ready and eager to capture the world's most wanted terrorist, Osama bin Laden. But bureaucracy may be holding them back. Also, the presidential candidates traveling abroad to win support at home. How their trips can translate into votes. Plus, the extreme measure that some people are taking to show their solidarity with Barack Obama. They are adopting his middle name. Wolf Blitzer is off today. I'm John Roberts. You're in the Situation Room. A deadly shift in the war on terror. For the second month in a row, more U.S. and coalition soldiers have been killed in Afghanistan than in Iraq. 40 compared to 30. And those 40 deaths make June the deadliest month ever since Operation Enduring Freedom began in Afghanistan more than 7 years ago. At the same time, there are disturbing reports that the hunt for Osama bin Laden is being crippled by bureaucratic infighting in Washington. CNN's Brian Todd has investigated. Brian, why are you finding?
Well, John, in 3 different briefings in Washington today, U.S. officials denied reports that squabbling between agencies is hindering efforts on the ground. But you are seeing signs of frustration among military commanders that in some cases they cannot go after their main targets. U.S. intelligence officials tell CNN a number of factors lead them to believe Osama bin Laden and other al-Qaeda leaders remain somewhere along the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan. But there's frustration on the part of U.S. military commanders that they can't get the green light to launch some operations in that area. That's according to an official at U.S. Central Command. How effective has the U.S. been in cracking down against al-Qaeda in that sensitive region?
Osama bin Laden is still free 7 years after 9/11. Ayman al-Zawahiri, his number 2, is still free. Al-Qaeda has regrouped by the government's own estimation. So I think those results speak for themselves.
CIA and Pentagon officials won't comment on a report in the New York Times that a secret plan drawn up last year to make it easier for special operations forces to go after al-Qaeda in Pakistan is still caught up in red tape. The report says officials at the White House and State Department are concerned that tensions with Pakistan will blow up. The White House denies bureaucracy is getting in the way.
The president has been looking for Osama bin Laden since September 12th. That effort has never let up.
Former officials who were inside U.S. intelligence after 9/11 tell us it has been difficult since then to coordinate operations between the Pentagon, intelligence, the State Department, and the White House, especially when it comes to going after al-Qaeda in Pakistan.
The fundamental problem here is that we're dealing with an adversary who has taken up refuge on the territory of a sovereign state with whom we're not at war. That's a very unusual circumstance that then presents a whole series of difficult decisions for people in government, people in intelligence, people in the military.
But John McLaughlin does not believe the Washington bureaucracy is holding up special operations inside Pakistan. He says the reason the U.S. hasn't gotten bin Laden is that so far officials haven't had high enough confidence in the intelligence they've received to commit special ops forces. John?
Well, Brian, what degree of confidence does he say they have to have?
Well, he says if they've got 80% confidence in the intelligence about any target, they'll launch. But he says something that does say something about how cold this trail's gotten for bin Laden. If they've not gotten to the 80% level on him, the trail's gone pretty cold at this point, John.
Brian Todd for us this afternoon. Brian, thanks so much. Barack Obama may soon get a first-hand look at Iraq and Afghanistan. He's heading to the Middle East and Europe soon. Republican rival John McCain is also getting his passport stamped. Let's go to our Mary Snow now. Mary, what do the candidates hope to accomplish by going overseas, or in John McCain's case, south of the border?
Well, you know, John, it may seem counterintuitive, but the presidential candidates are hoping to gain support here at home by going overseas. John McCain flies his new Straight Talk Express jet south of the border to Mexico and Colombia this week. Barack Obama will head to the Middle East and Europe this summer, and he told a radio interviewer he plans on visiting Iraq and Afghanistan.
In Iraq, my goal is to talk to the Iraqi leadership about making political progress so that we can start phasing down our troops in Iraq. And obviously, I also want to congratulate the troops for the extraordinary work they've done in reducing violence there.
Political observers say traveling overseas can give the candidate a chance to boost foreign policy credentials.
John McCain, I think, has used his trips to Iraq to considerable effect and have been helpful. I'm not sure whether any more foreign travel, especially to Colombia and Mexico right now, will help him very much. But a foreign policy trip for Barack Obama is essential.
A poll in early June asking voters who would better handle foreign policy puts McCain ahead of Obama by 11 points. And McCain is playing up what he sees as his advantage and has been pushing for a joint trip to Iraq.
I still offer to go with Senator Obama. I hope that I could not only add to some of his knowledge of the region, because he's only been there once, as we all know.
Obama has turned down McCain's offer, calling it a political stunt. He is expected instead to go to Iraq as part of a congressional delegation. One former diplomat says these overseas trips that also include the Middle East and Europe are necessary considering America's bruised image.
Part of what these leaders are doing, these candidates are doing, is demonstrating that they're able to restore American leadership in partnership with others, and that's an issue that resonates and plays back to the electorate in the United States.
So while the candidates are trying to shore up their credibility, their trips overseas can be seen as a test of how well they do on the world stage. John?
Trips could provide some sort of an advantage, but could the time spent overseas also hurt these candidates because there are so many pressing domestic issues that require attention?
Yeah, besides that, John, there's also a downside. You know, the former diplomat we spoke to said that while Americans want to be liked around the world, they also don't want other countries to set the agenda. And if they feel that another country is pulling the strings, that could be a downside for these candidates.
All right. Mary Snow for us today. Mary, thanks very much. Jack Cafferty back now in New York with me here with the Cafferty File.
Hey. It occurs to me, if we want to be liked around the world, maybe we shouldn't inflict our political campaigns on these foreign governments and people. You know,
well, you need to have a robust foreign policy.
No. Maybe they'll go and not come back. Just stay over there. John McCain's military service doesn't automatically qualify him to be president. That's according to a retired general, Wesley Clark. Clark is a former NATO commander. He backed Hillary Clinton. Now he supports Barack Obama. He says that performing heroic military acts is not a substitute for command experience. Clark says he honors McCain's service as a POW, calls him a hero. He credits McCain's time on the Senate Armed Services Committee and his travel worldwide, but he points out that John McCain has not held executive responsibility. General Clark says, quote, "I don't think riding in a fighter plane and getting shot down is a qualification to be president," unquote. McCain was more than just a fighter pilot, though. After his days as a POW, he went on to become the commanding officer of the largest squadron in the U.S. Navy. McCain's campaign responded, saying Obama doesn't stand for a new kind of politics, that he's willing to do and say anything to get elected, including allowing his surrogates to, quote, demean and attack McCain's military record. Barack Obama has formally rejected General Clark's comments, with the spokesman adding that Obama honors and respects John McCain's service. But Clark isn't the only one. The Politico reports that John McCain's coming under fire about his military service from critics on the left and the right. Some of them accuse him of war crimes for bombing targets in Hanoi during the 1960s. And one liberal blog accuses McCain of disloyalty during his time as a POW, since he participated in Vietnamese propaganda films and interviews. Others are asking for more detailed records about McCain's Navy service. So here's the question. Are John McCain's military credentials overrated? Go to CNN.com/Cafferty File and post a comment on my blog. We'll read a few of them in about 45 minutes.
Another provocative question,
we try.
should provoke some interesting responses.
Provocative or us.
You seem to hit the mark every time. Jack, thanks.
Thanks, John.
One part of Barack Obama's voting history is under attack from the right. We are checking the facts about what's really in his record today. And what's next with Bill Clinton? He finally speaks with Barack Obama. Find out how he might help and possibly hurt Obama's campaign. James Carville and Bill Bennett join me coming up next. And trouble at Ground Zero. After years of planning, calls to scrap it all and start from scratch. Stay with us. You're in the Situation Room.
When it all comes together, we're healthy and happy. When it all comes together, delicious and nutritious go hand in hand. Finally, it's all come together for you and your cat. Introducing Healthful Life from Purina Cat Chow. It's a perfect balance of taste and nutrition with real chicken, wholesome greens, delicious salmon, and a touch of cranberry and cheese. Finally, it's all come together. New Healthful Life from Purina Cat Chow. Yes, healthy can be delicious.
Oh, I must be careful. Well, that's a nice picture.
Come on, Anna.
Okay.
Foreclosure doesn't affect just you. It affects your whole family, too. If you've fallen behind on your mortgage, we can help. Call 1-888-995-HOPE because nothing is worse than doing nothing.
CNN Sunday Night. Stories of children at risk around the world. A CNN special hosted by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. UNICEF activists tell you how to make a difference. The Survival Project. One child at a time. CNN Sunday Night, 8 Eastern.
CNN Soledad O'Brien. A year-long investigation across America. A story that unites, divides, and affects every American. See what it means today to be Black in America. July 23rd and 24th on CNN.
There's the week, there's the weekend, and then there's the weekender.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the subscription from the New York Times, I love it.
Like your whole weekend's just started. It's come a little early.
So the deal is you call the 1-800 number, and then you get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for $3.35, which is half off, which is pretty crazy.
So you get the Friday paper, and boom, you're right into the weekend.
Saturday. The word alone makes me happy. I love to sort of pull everything out of the Sunday paper.
Travel section.
Magazine.
Weekend review.
The international news.
The book review.
I got these really great boots after reading the Sunday style section.
All I did was call the 1-800 number.
I'm not one of those call now people.
Call!
You should call now.
I love to have the New York Times delivered.
Who doesn't like to save money?
Call now because it's a great deal.
That's like having a table of contents for everything in the world.
I mean, how much would you give for that?
The Weekender subscription from the New York Times. Get it now for as low as $3.35 a week. Call 1-800-727-7464.
Who doesn't like to start the weekend a day early?
Barack Obama is fending off new attacks on his voting record when it comes to abortion. CNN's Carol Costello is investigating. Carol, what are the allegations and what's the truth about Obama's abortion record?
Well, John, some are calling Barack Obama a baby killer because of a bill he voted down while he was in the Illinois State Senate. It was called the Born Alive Infant Protection Act, and it's come back to haunt him. But is it fair?
It's a charge that's been circulating online for months.
He'll let a baby die that does miraculously survive an abortion.
Anti-abortion conservatives like former Senator Rick Santorum have written op-eds about it, calling Obama a harsh ideologue. And conservative commentator and CNN contributor Bill Bennett has given voice to it in the Situation Room.
What about that vote in Chicago that turned the stomach even of NARAL and the liberal senators that said if a baby is born alive after a late-term abortion, you can throw it away? Barack Obama approved that.
What about that vote? In 2001, when Obama was an Illinois state senator, he and his colleagues considered a bill called the Born Alive Infant Protection Act, which provided that a live child born as a result of an abortion shall be fully recognized as a human person and accorded immediate protection under the law. The bill caused an uproar in Illinois, fueled by dramatic testimony by a former Chicago nurse, Jill Stanek.
I held this little baby who had Down syndrome between 21 and 22 weeks until he died for 45 minutes. And that instantly catapulted me into becoming a pro-life activist and passionate on this issue.
Stanek, who was working at an Illinois hospital at the time, became so passionate she says she lost her job. A hospital spokesman, the Reverend Wendell Allman, would not confirm this, but said Stanek did not represent their hospital in a credible way. Still, Stanek's testimony fueled passion for the Illinois bill. It came up for a vote twice in the state legislature. The first time, Obama voted present. The second time, he voted no. He said at the time the Illinois Born Alive Infant Protection Act would essentially bar abortions because the Equal Protection Clause does not allow somebody to kill a child. In other words, Obama says now it lacked the federal language clarifying the act would not be used to undermine Roe v. Wade. Planned Parenthood of Chicago told us Obama felt the true goal of the Illinois bill was to make sure all abortion was illegal. Stanek denies that, saying the bill was almost identical to the federal Born Alive Infants Protection Act, a bill that was approved by every legislator from liberal Ted Kennedy to conservative Rick Santorum. It was signed into law by President Bush in 2002.
And Senator Obama says if he had been in the U.S. Senate in 2002, he too would have voted in favor of the Born Alive Infants Protection Act because unlike the Illinois bill, it included language protecting Roe v. Wade. John?
Carol Costello there with the background on this, and joining us to talk more about Obama's abortion record and more, CNN political contributor and Democratic strategist James Carville and CNN political contributor Bill Bennett, host of the conservative national radio talk show Morning in America. He's also a Claremont Institute fellow. Bill, let's start with you. So Barack Obama says that he voted no on this Born Alive Infant Protection Act because he said, and I read his comments in the Senate that day, said it would not pass constitutional muster, that it would in effect overturn Roe versus Wade by making abortion illegal. Do you accept that explanation?
No, certainly not. Carol's piece was good. It was accurate, except there's one more thing you need to know. The 2003 bill, the more you look into this, the worse it is for Barack Obama to deny it. Because if you look into the record, and Carol did a good job, you will see the 2003 bill had exactly the same language as the federal bill, and Barack Obama voted against it. This was not about Roe v. Wade. This was not about abortion. This was about protecting these babies when they are alive after 7 months, 5 months, 6 months, whether it be an abortion or through birth or through any other means. So Barack Obama, what he is saying is just false. Check the record. The more you dig into it, the worse it looks. He should just say whatever he wants, something else. I was naive. I didn't realize how close it was to the federal act. He cannot say it was different from the federal act. It was the same.
James, does Senator Obama have a problem with this?
I don't know, but I thought the piece was rich. First of all, Rick Santorum calling someone a harsh ideologue almost made me fall down. And the second thing is the priest at the hospital saying this woman was not credible, but I thought were two very interesting things. He says that had they had language in there supporting Roe v. Wade, he would have been for it. I'd have to go back and look at the vote in the Illinois legislature, but I suspect this was one of these things where the pro-life people were trying to undermine Roe v. Wade, and I think Senator Obama was a supporter of Roe.
Right, so you don't think he's got a problem here? This isn't going to hurt him?
Well, based on Rick Santorum attacking somebody as a harsh ideologue, that doesn't move me very much, I can assure you.
Well, if the only argument is that he was attacked by Rick Santorum, that'd be fine. But the question is the facts, and the facts in the case speak for themselves. The language was the language.
And the promoter of this bill was called non-credible by a priest.
Well, whether the promoter of the bill, it's not a Catholic hospital, it wasn't a priest. This is Jeremiah Wright was on the board of this. This is another complication. The facts are the facts, and the facts are that Barack Obama would not protect the life of this infant. Barbara Boxer would, the entire U.S. Senate would, Barack Obama wouldn't. He's got a problem here.
I think the language, look, but Barack Obama supports Roe versus Wade. McCain doesn't. That's a fact. I can't change that.
That's not what this is about.
No.
James, Bill Bennett has said in the past, and I assume that he still feels this way, that Barack Obama is getting a free ride in the press, that he's not adequately being vetted. Is that a fair point to make?
What are we talking about? We're having a discussion about a vote in the Illinois Senate. I mean,
on that and other issues.
Yeah, I'm not the arbiter of the press. I know that George W. Bush got an extremely favorable press for the first 3 or 4 years of his presidency, and look at the disaster we have now. So, but I'm not a kind of arbiter of who gets a favorable press or who doesn't get a favorable press. As you know, I was for Senator Clinton, who received the most negative press of any candidate that I can remember in modern memory. So I guess if I had to start a bone to pick here, but John McCain is hardly someone to complain about anybody getting a favorable press. So I don't know. I'm not a scorekeeper on press matters.
Well, what about that, Bill Bennett? Is John McCain getting a free ride?
They're asking tough questions of John McCain, and they may begin to ask tough questions of Barack Obama. I salute CNN for raising this question. This is a good one, and one he has not answered forthrightly. There are other good ones, too. Good ones were raised today about the whole question with Wesley Clark and so on. But it's a beginning of the summer. The press will figure it out, I hope.
Yeah. If I say something about the Wesley Clark thing, it's the most ill-reported story I've ever seen. He was asked specifically about that, and I think the answer he gave was, my uncle won a Distinguished Flying Cross, Purple Heart, World War II. He'd be the first person, if he were alive, to tell you that didn't qualify him to be president. I mean, I think he's an honorable man, but I think General Clark was responding directly to a question, and I read the transcript of what he said.
Right.
And I think that it's being mischaracterized on this and other networks.
Let me change gears here if I could.
Because the Obama campaign is not defending Wesley Clark
well,
on this. They are saying that he misspoke, and he did.
Let me change gears here for a second.
I think that General Clark responded directly to a question that was asked to him, and I think when reporting this, we should be very careful to point out that he was asked this question and responded, I think, in a very correct way.
Well, James, let me ask you this question, because you have been very close to former President Clinton. You were there with him at his side during the 1992 campaign.
I'm still close to him.
You have been an ardent supporter and friend of his ever since. Did he and Barack Obama, do you think, bury the hatchet during that 20-minute phone call this afternoon?
You know, John, I've always said, and I said the other night on CNN, you go through a process like this and there are bruised feelings. But I think that the healing process has begun. I had said all along any number of times that I thought that President Clinton was going to be a real supporter of Senator Obama's. I think that's going to be the case. I think important first steps were taken. And I think that he'll be enthusiastic about this, as will his wife. That was a magnificent event they had in New Hampshire last week. And I think all this bodes well. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like you go through something as traumatic and as long as this, where some people don't get their feelings hurt from time to time, but that's part of what adults do. That's part of what good political people do, is they get over that and they get over it quickly, and apparently we're on the road to a good recovery here.
Well, we'll keep watching. It's going to make for some interesting political theater. Bill Bennett, James Carville, good to talk to you.
Yeah.
All right. He's first in line to the British throne, but what's his take-home? Prince Charles' salary. The numbers coming up next. And a pregnant U.S. soldier found dead in a motel bathroom. The clue, police say, points to murder. Plus, he wrote the article that's caused an uproar about a secret mission in Iran. Seymour Hersh live up ahead. Stay with us. You're in the Situation Room.
Philadelphia. Philly to some. Shows so many sides to match your any side. That's what makes Philly fun. Let yourself go Phila.com. Book your Philly's More Summer Fun hotel package and get an American Express branded reward card worth $50.
Oil and natural gas powered the past, but the future. Fact is, a growing world will require more, 45% more by 2030, along with greatly expanding alternatives. We have substantial oil and natural gas resources right here, enough to power 60 million cars and heat 160 million households for 60 years. With advanced technology and smart policies, together, we can secure America's energy future. Log on to learn more.
Between an environment at risk and an environment in balance, between consuming less and conserving more, there is one important word: how. And it is the how that makes all the difference to the planet we all share.
Are you looking for a new best friend? Now it's easier than ever to find the perfect furry companion at Pet Adoptions on Demand. We'll introduce you to cats and dogs of every size, breed, and disposition, each one waiting for a place to call home. Visit Pet Adoptions in the On Demand menu under Local Programs.
guarantee your ticket. Buy in advance on Fandango.
CNN, the most trusted name in news.
Let's go now to our Kara Costello, who's monitoring stories incoming to the Situation Room. What have you got, Carol?
Well, John, costs are soaring for the rebuilding at Ground Zero, and the project is falling further behind schedule. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey says the schedule and budget should be scrapped. The Wall Street Journal reports the cost overruns could climb to $3 billion, and the September 11th memorial will not be ready for the 10th anniversary of the attacks. Flooding in the Midwest was so bad, farmers will harvest nearly 9% fewer acres of corn this year. The government says food prices may rise as a result. Fields have been soaked from Oklahoma to Ohio. Farmers planted more corn than they expected, but much of the surplus was washed away by the floods. And guess what? A sports car that runs on wine. Yes, it runs on wine. It belongs to none other than Britain's eco-friendly heir to the throne, Prince Charles. It's part of his drive to cut down on carbon dioxide emissions. His other cars run on used cooking oil, and he uses wood chip stoves at his country mansion. Details contained in an annual review of his accounts, which reveal he earned $32 million last year, but well, he can afford to pour wine into his gas tank then, can he?
And he's got all that land, too. That's got to count for something.
I just can't get over the wine. Like, does he pour expensive Bordeaux in?
You do with it what you can, I guess. If you got it, use it. Thanks, Carol. The Bush administration is ramping up secret operations aimed at destabilizing Iran's government. We'll talk to the award-winning reporter behind the explosive allegations. That's coming up. Also, Colorado, the ultimate toss-up state. Why Democrats have new hope across the Mountain West. And thousands of protesters in violent clashes over American meat. Now it's forcing a government to change.
Thanks for calling Ditech. How may I help you? Let's see if we can find a solution for you. Purchasing a new home is very exciting. But we don't believe in hidden fees, so we make the process as clear and straightforward as possible. Actually, I can have an approval decision for you in just a few minutes. I can even email you your loan documents. Great, let's get started.
Get into your dream home with a great low rate of 6%. Visit Ditech.com or call 1-800-DITECH-1 today.
Let me tell you about a very important phone call I made. When I got my Medicare card, I realized I needed an AARP Medicare Supplement insurance card too.
One simple call gave me the chance to talk with a personal health insurance advisor
who answered all my questions about Medicare supplement plans.
If you're already on or eligible for Medicare, call now to find out how an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, helps you pay some of the 20% of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare Part B. That can save you thousands of dollars. These are the only Medicare supplement insurance plans exclusively endorsed by AARP, a name you trust. When you call now, we'll send you this free information kit, plus this free guide to understanding Medicare.
I can keep my own doctor and choose my own hospital.
and I don't need a referral to see a specialist.
Call 1-800-673-4168 now. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting.
CNN Sunday Night. Stories of children at risk around the world. A CNN special hosted by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. UNICEF activists tell you how to make a difference. The Survival Project. One child at a time. CNN Sunday Night, 8 Eastern.
CNN Soledad O'Brien. A year-long investigation across America. A story that unites, divides, and affects every American. See what it means today to be Black in America. July 23rd and 24th on CNN.
Closed captioning hours provided by Vonage. For a better way to phone, call 877-4Vonage.
How much can you save on your phone bill with Vonage? Vonage saves you up to $300 a year. Call 877-4Vonage or go online to 4Vonage.com.
Talk is cheap, except when your car is making the noise. Sounds like the alternator. That's an $825 repair. Could be worse. If the transmission goes, you're out almost $2,500. Even a routine repair costs hundreds, even thousands. But you don't have to pay the bill. Protect your car, SUV, or truck with a U.S. Fidelis extended warranty, and we'll pay it for you. We offer customized warranties, not the one-size-fits-all plans dealers sell. Our plans cost less, and they let you choose coverage levels, deductibles, and repair shops. And we pay the shop directly. You don't pay, then wait to be reimbursed. Our plans also include extras like roadside assistance, free, and they're 100% transferable, a real plus when you sell your vehicle. If your car is under 10 years old with less than 150,000 miles, call for a free 5-minute quote. Call now before you need another repair. Call 1-800-690-9042 for a free no-obligation quote. That's 1-800-690-9042. 1-800-690-9042.
You're in the Situation Room, and happening now is the Bush administration targeting Iran. The New Yorker's Seymour Hersh says the U.S. is significantly stepping up covert operations against Tehran. I'll talk with Hersh right here in the Situation Room just ahead. Pitched battles in the streets of Seoul, South Korea. Protests against U.S. beef imports rock South Korea's capital and inflame anti-U.S. sentiment. And the mysterious death of a pregnant U.S. soldier. Police now say she apparently was murdered, and the Army is joining in the hunt for her killer. Wolf Blitzer is off today. I'm John Roberts in New York. You're in the Situation Room. A growing and secret Bush administration war chest funding escalating undercover operations inside Iran aimed at destabilizing the government. Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh makes detailed and disturbing allegations in The New Yorker. He's going to join us live in just a moment. But first, CNN senior Pentagon correspondent Jamie McIntyre is here. Jamie, what are you picking up on this story today?
Well, today, John, there was some no comments from the White House, some non-denial denials from the Pentagon, and a little bit of sneering from the State Department. The allegation that U.S. Special Ops commandos have been conducting covert operations into Iran from southern Iraq drew a quick and unequivocal denial from the U.S. ambassador to Baghdad.
I can tell you flatly that U.S. forces are not operating across the Iraqi border into Iran, in the south or anywhere else.
But the investigative reporter Seymour Hersh, whose New Yorker magazine article claims the U.S. efforts are part of a $400 million covert campaign to destabilize Iran's government, argues the operations are so super secret, Ambassador Crocker may be out of the loop. That assertion was mocked by the State Department spokesman.
Yes, I'm sure it's common for conspiracy-minded journalists to know more than the U.S. ambassador to a country. I don't think that's an argument that really holds water.
Nevertheless, senior Pentagon officials have hinted to CNN that CIA and other highly classified operations are conducted from time to time inside Iran, but they have never confirmed it. In a statement, the CIA said, as a rule, it does not comment on allegations regarding covert operations. Still, some members of Congress were not so quick to dismiss the idea the U.S. is working secretly in Iran to stop its meddling in Iraq.
I think we should be doing whatever we can to let the Iranians know they can't continue this and not expect us to take some action against them on this basis.
Hersh says some of the U.S. forces operating in Iran may be coming from the other border, Afghanistan. And he suggests their mission, in part, is to gather intelligence about Iran's suspected nuclear weapons program, possibly to lay the groundwork for a military strike. Pentagon officials who won't talk publicly because of the highly classified nature of the effort have hinted to CNN that there's a sort of tit-for-tat going on, that the U.S. is trying to do to Iran what Iran is attempting to do in Iraq. That is, support the groups that oppose the central government and thereby undermine it. John?
Jamie McIntyre with the background on the story for us. Jamie, thanks. And joining me now is the author of the article, Seymour Hersh. You heard what Tom Casey had to say at the State Department. He called you a, quote, conspiracy-minded journalist. He also said, and this is something you didn't hear there, after I stop laughing, I'll try to address the story for you. What do you say?
Well, it's tough because I was on your network yesterday, and he said what he said, and what am I going to do? Say he's either not telling the truth? And so just to be perfectly honest, I can tell you that in the article I wrote, I go to great lengths in citing people by name, including Admiral William Fallon. One of the issues Fallon had, along with the problems of speaking out against the bombing in Iran, which he did. That was the obvious cause of his dismissal. But there was a bigger part to the story, which is really, frankly, that he wanted to know exactly what the special ops guys were doing inside Iran. And he wasn't getting the whole story. And he was increasingly agitated about it. And I will tell you right now, categorically, that had a lot to do, particularly with Vice President Cheney being quite angry at him about this. He wanted Fallon, who, after all, is the CENTCOM commander in charge of the war in Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan. He wanted him out of the way when it came to special ops. Right. So it isn't that impossible that some of the activities that Crocker, who's a very honorable guy, didn't know about, because otherwise I just don't think he would say something that's not true, because I will tell you right now, the cross-border operations have been going on from southern Iraq into getting al-Quds and interrogating him back in town, and along with that, back in Iraq, and along with that, there's another separate operation, a task force that's run by the Joint Special Operations Command out of, I think I can probably say this, Herat province. It's a big enough province. We're running a separate operation funneling people and the special agents and equipment into Iran from there, including... Yes, sir.
Now, Sai, you did cite General Fallon by name, but there are also a lot of unnamed sources in your article, and you say that these unnamed sources have seen classified documents which they related to you. Did you ever see the classified documents yourself?
Actually, what I said in the article was pretty carefully said. I said those who are familiar with the documents. We never quite said anybody saw a finding. A presidential finding is very highly classified. And absolutely, I can tell you right now, I did not see a presidential finding.
So how can you be sure that these people were being straight with you and they weren't operating from some political perspective?
I certainly think they were operating from a political perspective in the sense that they're totally pro-Pentagon, pro-war, pro our armed forces, pro our soldiers, but very much against the policy in Iran. And I can tell you also that some people there know the New Yorker's very rigorous fact-checking process. It was more than 1 or 2 or 3 people I talked to about this. There's a great deal of concern about this new finding and the money that was spent, and a great deal of concern about the fact that Congress really doesn't know what the Special Operation Command is doing in Iran, because the White House refuses to tell Congress anything about military operations. Only the CIA operations are briefed to the Congress, the special committees.
Sai, let me take you back a couple of years ago to another article that you wrote in the New Yorker about the same subject, which I believe I was filling in for Wolf on special edition, or late edition one day, and had you in to talk about it, in which you said in this article, quote, the Bush administration has increased clandestine activities inside Iran and intensified planning for a possible major air attack. Nothing has happened since then. That was 2 years ago. What about what Jamie McIntyre was reporting just a moment ago, that this is not a prelude to a major attack? This is simply trying to do to Iran the same thing that Iran is ostensibly doing in Iraq, and that it's a major irritant to the government there, trying to keep it off balance.
What the JSOC is doing, the Joint Special Operations Command, they're high-value target hunters. They're our hunter-killer teams. They're the best we have. Please don't think I'm in any way denigrating them. They're great. They're great soldiers, great warriors. They've been assigned by this White House, by the president. They've been given basically worldwide carte blanche. When we isolate a high-value target in the global war on terrorism, they are permitted, they are authorized by executive order to go into any country without telling the ambassador or the station chief, and find the guy, capture them if they can, if not, take other means, killing them included.
Okay, but let me go on.
Let me go on. One of the targets, and I write about this, a target designated by the Vice President's office in this case, are Iranian nuclear scientists. We would love to get an Iranian nuclear scientist. We'd like to capture one, bring them back to the United States, show the world that what the White House believes, which is that Iran is much farther along on its weapons program. Absolutely.
But is that laying the groundwork for major military operations in Iran?
No, the groundwork had been laid, as you said, as you just mentioned, too. Listen, the submarines are ready. The destroyers are ready. The cruise missiles are ready. We've been exercising and training on this for years. We're ready to go. Of course we have been for a long time. We've got that country targeted. Okay. That doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Is this idea of covert activity a big deal, though? We had General David Grange on with Kira Phillips earlier on Newsroom today. Here's what he said about covert activity of the nature you say is going on in Iran.
I hope we're doing it. I mean, I think that every country in the world does covert operations. And remember, a covert operation is one where the act is not hidden. It's the sponsor of the act that's hidden, and it gives you an opportunity for plausible denial. But it's important to do covert operations to shape our interest abroad.
So he's saying that this sort of activity that you talk about in your article, he would expect would be going on.
I could also tell you the classic definition of a covert operation also involves doing activity that would not be legal, would not be considered legal by the country in which you're operating. I can also tell you that a finding, there's one of the bars to a finding, one of the findings in a bar is one of the legal requirements of a finding for CIA operations that it cannot be against the American Constitution or the laws. So there's a lot of problems in this whole process. And Congress, one of the major points I'm making, and I disagree about covert operations in this sense, we have a purpose here. We're still trying to undermine the government. There's been an enormous increase in kinetic activity, that is terrorism, bombings. If anybody looks at the scale of operations in the last 4 or 5 months, the scale of reported incidents inside Iran, they're going up exponentially. Right. As I say in the article, I don't know whether we're responsible for it, but it is interesting. And again, yeah, I'm sorry, John.
I'm sorry, Si, we're running out of time. I just wanted to thank you very much for coming on.
Sure.
It's an interesting article, certainly a lot of food for thought.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being with us today. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
A pregnant soldier, a murder scene, and a mysterious letter. Coming up, the clue that's taking this case to a whole new level. Plus, surrounded by flags, Barack Obama speaks out about patriotism, why he's blaming himself for some of the criticism. You're in the Situation Room.
At eHarmony, we match you with other singles based on compatibility. And the best part is, you can review your matches absolutely free. Aren't you curious to see who you'd be matched with? Log on and review your matches for free. eHarmony.com.
Growing a business takes time. But if you're distracted with little problems, you're not focused on the big picture. Quest provides integrated voice, data, and network solutions, giving you time back to make sure your business can reach its potential. Get Quest. Get nimble.
There's the week, there's the weekend, and then there's the weekender.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the subscription from the New York Times, I love it.
Like your whole weekend's just started. It's come a little early.
So the deal is you call the 1-800 number, and then you get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for $3.35, which is half off, which is pretty crazy.
So you get the Friday paper, and boom, you're right into the weekend.
Saturday. The word alone makes me happy. I love to sort of pull everything out of the Sunday paper.
Travel section.
Magazine.
Weekend review.
The international news.
Book review. I got these really great boots after reading the Sunday style section.
All I did was call the 1-800 number.
I'm not one of those call now people.
Call!
You should call now.
I love to have the New York Times delivered.
Who doesn't like to save money?
Call now because it's a great deal.
It's like having a table of contents for everything in the world.
I mean, how much would you give for that?
The Weekender subscription from the New York Times. Get it now for as low as $3.35 a week. Call 1-800-727-7464.
Who doesn't like to start the weekend a day early?
CNN Sunday Night. Stories of children at risk around the world. A CNN special hosted by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. UNICEF activists tell you how to make a difference. The Survival Project. One child at a time. CNN Sunday Night, 8 Eastern.
Every American is an independent thinker. Get the facts from the only news channel to give you all sides. Get the facts. Demand the truth. We do. You do too. Declare your independence. Only CNN equals politics.
Army investigators are now joining in the probe into the mysterious death of a pregnant Fort Bragg soldier. The body of 23-year-old Megan Tuma was found in a motel room in Fayetteville, North Carolina, more than a week ago. Let's go to CNN's TJ Holmes. He's in Fayetteville. TJ, the case is now being treated as a homicide?
They are treating it as a homicide, and as we know, that is not the same thing as ruling it a homicide. Certainly semantically different here. They are not sure still how she died and if, in fact, she was murdered. They have done at least one autopsy now by the state medical examiner here in North Carolina. The results of that not released, but certainly not enough from that the police have gotten to make them think that this, in fact, was a homicide for sure. Next, the Army, as you mentioned, hasn't gotten involved in this investigation now. Her body now, Megan Toomer's body, is now with the Army in D.C. for another round, for a second autopsy. That autopsy done in a pathology lab that hopefully has some more advanced technology. Maybe we'll be able to give some answers just to how she died and if, in fact, it was, they can confirm it was a homicide. Now, those are the two major developments today. We had certainly other major developments over the weekend. This person of interest, for one thing, but also this letter. This mysterious letter that was sent to a local newspaper from someone claiming to be the killer, confessing to the murder, and also saying that they had killed plenty of times before and they would kill again. Fayetteville police want everybody out there to know, and certainly the people of Fayetteville, they do not believe that there is a serial killer on the loose. They believe this letter may have been written just to throw them off, not giving a lot of credence to it. And the other major development, as we were mentioning, a person of interest. We do know that this person is a soldier who was also stationed at Fort Bragg, the same place where Megan Toomer had just been transferred. We don't know the relationship yet between the two. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of conjecture out there about whether or not this may have been the boyfriend, the fiance possibly the father of the child. That we just don't know. We don't know if police have this person in custody, if they're questioning them, and if they know where this person is right now. So, John, a lot of fast-moving developments over the weekend and then also this morning. But we are in standby mode. Police say they will not come out, John, with another press conference until they are sure they have something concrete to say.
And any idea, TJ, how long before they get the results of the second autopsy?
We do not have word on how long they will take. Again, we knew the autopsy didn't take long, even though they did not release those results. The Army now has her body, has had it since Friday, so those results could come out to us at any moment.
All right. TJ Holmes for us in Fayetteville, North Carolina. TJ, thanks. A beef between the United States and South Korea over beef. It's resulting in some violent protests. CNN State Department correspondent Zane Verjee is live with us from Washington. Good afternoon, Zane.
Good afternoon, John. South Koreans don't want U.S. beef, but the violence and the dispute is about a lot more than just beef.
Wild street battles and huge demonstrations over the safety of U.S. beef continue as Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice visited South Korea.
American beef is safe.
The new Korean government ended a 5-year import ban imposed after a 2003 mad cow disease case in the U.S. Under a new deal, only cattle younger than 30 months are allowed in. The U.S. beef industry says this arrangement will help regain the confidence Korean consumers have in the quality and safety of U.S. beef, which is the very same beef we feed to our own families. The ban cost the U.S. up to $4 billion in beef exports. But are these riots just about beef?
It is partly about fear about the food, but it's also about a complex U.S.-Korea relationship.
South Korea's new President Lee is closer to President Bush. He's inherited tensions with the U.S. over the beef problem and over the presence of U.S. troops. Experts say lifting the ban on beef has triggered a wave of anti-American feeling.
I think all sides need to cool it down, take some time, not belittle the other side's arguments or concerns, and we should be able to work this one out in the end. After all, we are very important trading partners.
Experts say that many South Koreans feel that they are a powerful country in a big region with a very strong economy, so they shouldn't have to cave in to U.S. demands the way that they feel their government and their president is doing. John?
Some pretty incredible street protests there. Zane Verjee for us from the State Department. Zane, thanks. A show of support for Barack Obama is gathering steam and prompting name changes across the country. Is it for real? And a new ad that uses a presidential imposter is raising some eyebrows, but does it go overboard? Judge for yourself just ahead. You're in the Situation Room.
It's my lifeline. It's my A-list. It's my favorite movie. It's my update. It's my ticket in. It's my way home. Turn left. It's my instinct. It's my world. Visitors are welcome.
The new Instinct. It's from Samsung. It's for you.
Diana didn't feel wanted.
Her deepest secrets, what you didn't know. Growing Up Diana. CNN Saturday night 80s.
Who says Gordon Smith helped lead the fight for better gas mileage and a cleaner environment? Barack Obama. He joined with Gordon and broke through a 20-year deadlock to pass new laws which increase gas mileage for automobiles. Governor Ted Kulongoski praised their bipartisan partnership on this critical issue. Gordon Smith, bipartisan leadership for energy independence.
I'm Gordon Smith, and I approve working together across party lines. And this ad.
Maya, like many people, has too much credit card debt. How about you? Do you have $5, $10, $15, or even $25,000 or more in credit card debt? I'm Todd Cook, founder of 800 Credit Card Debt. We'll help you find a payoff plan you can live with. One that could work with your creditors to eliminate penalties, lower your interest rates, and even reduce what you owe. Call us, because you can pay off your credit cards and still have money left over each month.
Call 1-800-985-1527.
After years of trying to interact with your TV,
Get him! No! What are you thinking?
it's time your TV responded. With Searchlight, it can. For information on just about anything, select Searchlight from your on-demand menu.
Yes! Thank you!
Searchlight. Demand more from your TV. For an inside look at the newest GM makes and models, press 889 on your Comcast remote to access the GM showroom.
I love my Comcast video and high-speed internet, but by adding Comcast phone service, I became a VIP.
Comcast built their phone service from the ground up.
They monitor their network 24/7 for reliability.
I get tons of free calling features.
Unlimited nationwide calling.
And as a VIP, I only pay $33 a month and got a free DVR.
I save almost 30% over the phone company.
I guess that's what it means to be a VIP.
American Morning Team of the most news in the morning. American Morning. CNN tomorrow, 6 a.m.
Winning the West could be key to winning the White House for Barack Obama. And for the first time since the turn of the century, Democratic prospects in the region are looking up. Case in point, Colorado. CNN's Jim Acosta joins us live. He's back from Colorado. What's happening there in that state?
Well, John, it's no accident the Democrats picked Denver as the site of their upcoming national convention. Colorado is shaping up to be the ultimate toss-up state. There's more than a continental divide that runs through Colorado. The political divisions are just as dramatic, with Democrats, Republicans, and independents each making up roughly 1/3 of Colorado voters. But over the last 4 years, those voters have handed key state jobs to Democrats, like Governor Bill Ritter.
There's been, I think, a trend to leaders who are pragmatic, who are centrists.
This self-styled cowboy centrist believes his state has grown weary of the Westerner currently in the Oval Office.
I think people are really disappointed about what happened respecting the Iraqi war, how we got into it. In some respects, how we were misled in getting into it. And I think that...
Do you feel that the president misled the country?
I feel so. I absolutely do. And I think that there will be some backlash in this election as a part of it.
Clearly, there's war fatigue here, as there's war fatigue in other states.
But Colorado political analyst Eric Sonderman points out that Bill Clinton was the last Democrat to win here, and he did so with the help of third-party candidate Ross Perot, taking votes away from the Republicans. This time, there's no viable independent in the race.
It is a unique kind of Democrat who is winning here. The question is, can Obama inherit or adapt to that kind of magic?
Independents voted for President Bush both times, and that's why he won this state.
Former two-term Republican Governor Bill Owen says those independents will prefer the familiar face of John McCain.
I'd actually preferred to run against Barack Obama. I think he's charismatic. I think he's a very nice guy. But I think that when you bring less experience to the presidential election than Jimmy Carter had, that's going to be a challenge.
The Mountain West, which follows the spine of the Rockies from Canada to Mexico, is proving to be fertile ground for Democrats. In 2000, there wasn't a single Democratic governor in the region. Today, there are 5 and counting, John.
Politics shifting all across this country. Great piece.
Big shift out west.
I'm surprised you came back from Colorado. It's such a great place you want to stay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Jimmy, thanks.
You got it.
Senator Barack Obama's middle name is Hussein, and it's frequently used in attacks against him. To show their solidarity with Obama, a number of supporters online are adopting his middle name as their own. Our internet reporter Abby Tatton is here. Abby, what are you seeing online?
John, you're seeing this on blog posts. You're seeing this on bumper stickers that are being sold online. Barack Obama supporters adding the middle name Hussein to their own online profile because they say they're sick of Barack Obama's middle name being used as a tax.
My middle name is Clifford. You can't get any further from Hussein than that. But, you know, so what? I'm taking on the middle name Hussein in solidarity with Barack Obama because...
That's Jonathan Cook, a blogger online who's introduced a line of merchandise. But separately from him, you're going to see Facebook profiles, people changing their online profile to include this name. And this Barack Obama supporter writing, there's a lot of silliness going on about Obama's middle name. One way to diffuse the issue is to completely embrace it. John?
Abby Tattenforth. Abby, thanks so much. Time now to check back in with Jack Cafferty. He's got the results of his question. What do you got?
The question is whether or not John McCain's military credentials are overrated. General Wesley Clark, the former NATO commander, suggested they might be in response to a question that he was asked yesterday. Here's some of your thoughts. Judy writes, McCain's service should be respected. Our past is always with us, so whatever he did or didn't do, something he has to live with. I do honor all our military service people. McCain is no different. However, I hope he doesn't wear POW on his forehead thinking it'll bring him votes. It won't get him mine. Bob writes, I doubt they're overrated, but I don't think they're necessarily a qualification to be president. It's an old and tired way of thinking that being a war hero qualifies anyone for the presidency. It really is time for change. That includes many of the old ideas that qualify one for the nation's highest office. I don't think he's qualified to be president, period. Ray in Westchester, Pennsylvania, I think General Clark's statement is simply stupid from a political standpoint. Why would you want to bring up McCain's military service as an issue in the first place? The discussion hurts Obama much more than McCain. One, Obama has no military service. McCain served in the Navy in a war zone. Two, Obama has no executive experience. McCain is an officer. And three, McCain is a U.S. Naval Academy graduate, and Annapolis is probably one of the great leadership schools in the world. Alan in West Virginia writes, John McCain's service alone doesn't make him qualified to be commander-in-chief. However, when combined with his years in the Senate, including as former chairman and current ranking member of the Armed Services Committee, he has very reputable credentials. And Dee says this, Obama made a mistake rebutting Clark, who had a very down-to-earth point. McCain's military credentials are not out of the ordinary. I fail to see how being shot down and the subsequent consequences make you a better commander-in-chief. It's like suggesting that being mugged on the street will somehow make you a better candidate for mayor. If you didn't see your email here, you can go to my blog at cnn.com/Cafferty file. Look for yours there among hundreds of others.
There's always some provocative answers.
These are great people.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you next hour for the panel.
Well, I can hardly wait.
All right.
I get so excited.
Fired up.
Oh, yeah.
You can hardly
hair stands up on the back of my...
All right, well, bring that enthusiasm to the table.
Oh, I will.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jack. He used to be a Democrat, but Joe Lieberman is using some conservative tactics to support John McCain. Coming up, the fear factor and whether it just might work in this presidential election. Plus, getting your gasoline for free. Find out how you can fill up your car without draining your wallet. You're in the Situation Room.
CNN Sunday. Provocative best-selling author Fareed Zakaria. A new Sunday show, a new kind of talk. Fareed Zakaria, GPS. CNN Sunday afternoon, 1 Eastern.
Philadelphia. Philly to some. Shows so many sides. To match your any side. That's what makes Philly fun. Let yourself go Phila.com. Book your Philly's More Summer Fun hotel package and get an American Express branded reward card worth $50.
You know, some things just get better over time. And if you're a homeowner age 62 years or older, a reverse mortgage could make this the best time of your life. Hi, I'm Robert Wagner for the Senior Lending Network. A reverse mortgage is a government-insured loan that allows homeowners 62 and over to access the equity in their homes without making any monthly loan payments. I know it sounds too good to be true, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. That's why the Senior Lending Network created this free educational video. It'll tell you all about government regulations, insurances, and safeguards, costs and fees associated with reverse mortgage, differences between a reverse mortgage and a home equity loan, estate planning and inheritance issues, title retention and home ownership responsibilities, and much, much more. Plus, you'll have access to an improved senior lending network specialist who can personally guide you through the entire reverse mortgage process and help you explore all your options. For your free video, all you have to do is call the toll-free number on the bottom of your screen. Over 1 million homeowners have already called the Senior Lending Network for their free video. And now, it's your turn.
Now that we have the reverse mortgage, it has been like a weight off of our shoulders.
The reverse mortgage has given me that assurance that I can stay in my home and enjoy it.
So if you're a homeowner, 62 years or older, or if you want to help your parents maintain their financial independence, let me send you your free video right now. It really could make this the best time of your life.
Call the Senior Lending Network now at 1-800-620-9649. That's 1-800-620-9649 for your free reverse mortgage educational video and information kit. Call 1-800-620-9649. That's 1-800-620-9649. Call now.
As gasoline prices continue to soar, some businesses are hoping to lure customers by making it less painful at the pump. CNN senior correspondent Alan Chernoff reports.
In a lousy economy, you've got to motivate consumers, and the motivator of the year is free gas. The promise of free fuel is how businesses are selling everything from candy bars to cars.
It brought a lot of customers in that may not otherwise have bought our product.
This is a good bargain. This is a good deal. And, you know, we as Americans, we all looking for a deal.
There are deals at the ballpark. $25 of gas if you buy 4 tickets to the San Francisco Giants. Free gas for less wholesome entertainment in Nevada. The women of the Shady Lady Ranch, a legal brothel, offer $150 gas cards for those who indulge in 3 hours of pleasure.
Free gas promotions are in the supermarket, too. The ShopRite chain is offering $25 gas cards to shoppers who buy $75 worth of major brand name products. So you can fight gingivitis and get free gas at the same time.
For these pharmacists, gas is also a lure to take business from competitors. Transfer prescriptions to Rite Aid, and the pharmacy will enter you into a weekly drawing for a year's worth of fuel.
The more prescriptions they transfer with that coupon, the more chances they have to win.
And free gas is motivating good deeds. Connecticut's Red Cross enters blood donors in free gas raffles.
The gas cards these days are highly valued, so we're finding it to be a successful promotion.
The more you spend, the more gas you get. Buy Callaway's best driver, get it, and you'll have a full tank to get to the golf course.
This is the FTI, which is their square driver, also composite head, and this one is $500 and gets a $100 gas card rebate.
Or if you can afford it in this economy, rent a yacht for $20,000